Hi, I'm Jen. I love watching horror movies. I also have PTSD and I go to a lot of therapy.
I'm Lara. I have anxiety and depression and love having the shit scared out of me. Wait, what?
I'm Mike. I'm a therapist and I love riffing on horror movies.
We love watching horror movies. We love them for how much they scare us and for how much they help us.
Because we love talking about mental health, aka how crazy we are, and the role the horror genre can play in our wellness and self-care, we've started a brand new podcast called Psychoanalysis.
Each episode, we'll talk about a movie and how it relates to a different topic in the mental health field.
Our episodes drop every other Thursday starting on July 9th on the Consequence Podcast Network. Listen to find out how horror can heal.
Consequence Podcast Network.
My friendship to all of you precludes my involvement with any one of you. But if you wanna make love, then I do too, and I'll be right there behind you. All in the name of oh, all in the name of oh, all in the name of
Greetings, constant listeners, and welcome yet again to another episode of The Losers Club, a Stephen King podcast brought to you by Consequence Podcast Network. My name is Mackenzie, didn't think of this, Gerber, and I'm really excited to talk about the book that we're covering today is 1993's Nightmares and Dreamscapes, a short story collection. And I'm a big fan of the short stories, so we're going to hop right into this and go around the circle here and find out who else is going to be joining us on this Nightmare and or Dreamscape. Way over in the land of the Forbidden, Dan.
You said my name already, but my name is Dan Dolan Caffrey. I feel weird using that because that's not spoiler alert, not my favorite story. But I guess these are maybe not the best stories today. So I'll say Dan Dolan Caffrey. And are we talking about our first experience with the book?
Yeah. What's your first experience with the book, and what version did you read this time around versus the first time, if there was a first?
There was a first time indeed. So this book came out right around when I was getting into King and was being allowed to read a lot more Stephen King. It was pretty massive though. I hadn't really read any of his short story collections up at that point. I think I was like 9 or 10 years old. But I thought the cover was really cool because I was also into Goosebumps, and in Goosebumps there's a short story called The Scarecrow Stalks at Midnight, which some of you might know. And I thought, yeah, it's great. And I love the Scarecrow on the front of this, but I think I was bummed when I read it and there was no Scarecrow story after all. But yeah, the edition I read when I was younger was like a paperback that I remember was at my aunt's house. It had like a half moon, half sun. I don't know if any of y'all saw that. It was like
That's what I got.
Yeah, the old paperback one. That's what I read originally, but hey man, you know how I love my first editions, so I found one of these at Half Price Books and checked it out before going into it. So it has the Scarecrow on the front of it, and it is massive. We're actually moving to Atlanta in a week, and I packed all my Stephen King books in one box except for this one, which I think I'll have to probably just put in my backpack, even though I finished it. Yeah, and it was great revisiting these stories. I feel like with these massive short story collections he has, like Skeleton Crew and this, and Bizarre Bad Dreams, I always forget about a few of them, you know, until I just going through the titles. I remembered The Night Flyer, I remembered Popsy, I remembered Dolan's Cadillac, a few others, but some of them I just forgot completely what they're about. So in many ways, I feel like I was reading it for the first time, and of course, when you're a little kid, you don't get the nuances of a story like Chattery Teeth maybe on the first time around. So yeah, it was cool revisiting a lot of these and understanding them a little bit better than when I was a lad.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Well, thank you for that, and we're gonna hop back to Chicago to our other I was gonna say listener. Wow, off to a great start. Who are you?
This is Isha, the fifth quarter. Or actually, I wanted to go with Heads Up this time because I was not a fan of Heads Down. And my first experience with this was actually this time around. I had never read Nightmares and Dreamscapes before this, so this was a journey and a challenge. I got the audiobook as well as the downloadable book, so it's not really an addition, but the cover they show is like the Dolan's Cadillac on the highway with like a background scene of like a setting sun, I guess. I don't know, it's kind of weird. But it was interesting to listen to the audio version and who they picked, what celebrities they picked for each story.
Yeah, I'll be interested to hear about that.
Yeah, it's a different person. Like, there's multiple characters that show up again. Like, Tim Curry is in two of them. They've got, now her name is blanking in my head. Who's the voice for Lisa Simpson?
Oh, Yeardley Smith? Is that
yes,
her?
thank you. Yeah. She does one of the stories. They've got Joe Montana. They have a few different people.
Nice. That's like, because Yeardley Smith was in Maximum Overdrive and Tim Curry was in It. Was Joe Montana ever in a... I feel like Joe Montana would be good in Dolan's Cadillac, but I don't
Was
think
he in Thinner?
He might have been playing.
Oh yeah, he played the gangster, right?
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. I think.
Was Gary Sinise ever in one? Because he's one of the people.
Oh
yeah, he's in The Stand. Yeah. Is he in the Green Mile too? Right.
Yes, he is briefly, I believe.
He's like the I don't know. He's like the
friend of his that he goes to visit. Yeah.
It's a veritable King Crew on the audiobook.
That's interesting, and you'll have to definitely tell us about which as we come across each of these. If you remember who did the narration of the audio,
an extra treat.
We're gonna hop in Dolan's Cadillac. Dan, are you ready? And we're gonna go to our next guest, our next host of the evening, and that is.
This is Mel Moving Finger Castle.
Oh,
I've owned Nightmares and Dreamscapes for a really long time, and it took up a sort of falsely storied place in my mind where I thought, oh, Skeleton Crew has some sort of baser stories, but Nightmares and Dreamscapes is a little more highbrow. Not actually, the reverse is true.
Yeah.
And so revisiting it, I not only was like, oh, right, like these are kind of this is a group of misfits. But I also remembered that there are at least two of these that I like either consciously or unconsciously as a very young burgeoning writer, like straight plagiarized. Like I definitely took two ideas from these stories and tried to write my own. Like I didn't try to get them published or anything anywhere, but it was definitely a journey and a challenge. No, they were not good. They might have been better than the ones I was plagiarizing from, though. A journey and a challenge. Yeah, I have the Signet paperback, which is a gold and blue sun and moon conjoined face. It looks very kind of ethereal and witchy, and it's almost 700 pages long. And let me tell you, it felt that way.
Oh yeah, yes it does. I didn't go over mine, y'all.
Matt, what was your first exposure to Nightmares and Dreamscapes? Where do you live?
It was a month ago. I'm here in Chicago, and I read this whole thing slowly over the last couple months. It's been an adventure. I think I was trying to read like a story a day to keep up my interest in pursuing the end of this great novel. I have the Viking Press edition. I think this is the first edition, which has the scarecrow, on the front of the dust jacket. And I remember this is one of the first King books that I remember being like. I remember when it was actually released. Like I was cognizant of it coming out in the bookstores, and I always thought the cover looked really cool, and I was really into it. But I would little did King know I wouldn't read it for like 20 years. So with that, I think we're going to jump into our first little category here where we talk a little bit about the history and the introduction of this novel. And we're going to head over to...
It's a collection of short stories.
Yes, a collection of short stories. I'm sorry. It's so long. Dan, can you tell us a little bit about the history of this book?
Yeah, I mean, King actually does a pretty lengthy introduction to it, like he does, I think, with all of his short story collections. And like most of them, these were cobbled together from various stories that had appeared in magazines. He's got a couple on release. I think the what separates this maybe from his other short story collections, and we get a little bit of poetry and Skeleton Crew, but he mixes it up with some other formats in here. We get a couple of poems. We get a nonfiction story about his son's baseball team that he, I think, debuted in the New Yorker. Yeah, and then we also get a screenplay too. So I would say this is a little bit more. I don't want to say piecemeal than the rest of his stuff, because I think there's some really good work here. But it feels like a little bit more of a random assortment.
He himself calls it an uneven Aladdin's cave of a book.
It literally felt like he went into his attic and just found a bunch of stories and was like, "Here, this is stuff I've worked on. I don't know what I gave you. Just figure it out."
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess overall, I think it does have some of his. I mean, well, all right, there's his nasty stories in this that are nasty for not being scary for other reasons that we'll get into with a couple of the stories today. But then a lot of them, I think, they're almost like EC Comics, just one gimmick, classic guts and violence king. And so I weirdly feel like those stories, like Rainy Season, Chattery Teeth, Moving Finger, the more straight up horror grisly ones. I almost feel like if it was just those in the collection, that they would feel like they belong in the same book for a reason. But I think because of the presence of the rest of them, it does feel like Isha was saying, just getting these things out of the attic, which in some cases he did. That is what he did. A quick question for all of you with his short story collections.
Yeah.
And I would say Night Shift is pretty flawless, but this one, Skeleton Crew, it's like hit and miss. I always feel like he's doing kind of a mea culpa in his intros he does for them, like he's trying to critic proof himself. It always kind of rubs me the wrong way a little bit. Do you all feel like that though?
He's so precious about everything related to writing that I cringe at most of his intros. I do think though that this book in particular, both in the intro and in the notes that he gives to many but not all of the stories, are very much kind of unapologetic, like not apologetic as he should be about them. I mean, the intro is about the nature of like belief and faith and myth, and he is sort of saying like, we all as children believed that, if you put a dime on the railroad track, the train would derail and or it would squish the coin flat. And he kind of tries to do this incantatory thing where he's getting the audience on his side and being like, I believe, so that if you do object to these stories, you're kind of being a real spoil sport.
Yeah, he always goes back and forth between, and interviews too, and he's only human, and we all deal with this conflict being artists, I think, but he always goes back and forth between, I'm just this humble guy and you don't have to like my stories or my books, and they're the literary equivalent to Big Mac and fries. And then the belief stuff where he seems like really pissed if you don't like some of his stuff. It's very interesting to me.
And for those of you listeners who are new to this, when we cover the short stories, we're actually going to be splitting this up. So this episode is going to be covering the worst of the stories. So
that's
it's
an averaged out ranking of all of our individual rankings. So this is going to be a very contentious episode wherein we yell at each other.
There was a point where I wanted to have more on the worst list, but I was like, fine, I guess I got to keep this even.
Oh, you want to skew the ratio? Yeah.
Yeah.
we kind of cut this down the middle.
The stats.
So we got to cut this down the middle. So for me, I felt like a lot of these stories were pretty middling. So it was kind of hard to have a best and the worst. But this will be these. I think there's 24 entries. But a couple of these are it's like a parable and then a poem and then an essay. So we did include those to some extent. Two of which we'll talk about right at the beginning because they were some of the lesser stories.
We kind of kept those separate, right, from the ranking wise.
Yeah, I mean, I think some people, I didn't rank these, but some people did. So I think, but they had them at the very bottom. So it's just going to happen that we're going to talk about those first anyways.
I really have no idea what any of your preferences are. I feel like we're going to do, I mean, I don't know.
At the very end, we can give our full lists really quickly, but I know that there are some polarizing choices.
And we should and because it's a collective ranking, I think it's totally great to spar with each. If Mel loved Dolan's Cadillac, I don't know if you did or not, but if you and I hate,
you'll find out.
Yeah, we should feel free. So it's like a collective ranking, but yeah, we can have differing viewpoints. I think maybe I liked the collection overall a little bit more than all y'all did because it's split pretty evenly down the middle for me. I thought that was fair, but sounding like some people maybe thought more should be in the negative. So
I guess fair warning, I found this collection on balance upsetting.
I will say, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, there were some stories where I was like, I liked where it was going, but there were just certain things that grind my gears about how he was writing the characters he were portraying. And I was like, as I was listening to the audio, I was like, I can't stand these characters. I called my dad at one point and was like, how did he get away with writing for so long? How did they let him get away with this?
We lose you as a co-host. You're like, this guy.
Truly, I was testing my patience.
Yeah, I mean, I will say it definitely feels unbalanced to me, especially toward the end. It's weird the order they're in too. I feel like he really front loads a lot of the better stuff, and then I would definitely agree that it's sort of scattershot. But I like the Greg and Skeleton Crew. Yeah. Should we do it, Mac, or is there anything more to say?
Yeah, no. If y'all are ready to dive into this,
I just don't want to spoil. If we keep talking in generalities, we'll spoil our opinions.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
This is very true. Very true.
Let me pull up the rankings.
While Dan pulls up his rankings,
or the email that got sent with our overall rankings. Who was that from? Randall.
Randall.
Y'all talk.
Well, we're gonna start with the. Let's just start with the poem, because we're going to do those two outliers first, right? Brooklyn August and The Beggar and the Diamond.
Yes.
A quick discussion of the bad poems.
Well, The Beggar and the Diamond is a parable.
Right.
It's not a poem.
I know. I'm just going off based on what Randall sent to us, so I'm calling Randall out.
He's
cowardly. He's not here to defend himself.
I know. Well, I know.
I view the
best thing
poem
about it.
as the biggest outlier. So let's just start there.
Oh, Brooklyn August.
Okay. So this is
about I don't know. Maybe do any of you have a reverence for baseball? I know your brother does, Mac. Yeah, maybe. Do we just need to be baseball fans?
I do.
Loves baseball.
I do, but I still clocking in at 24, even though this isn't a story. Brooklyn August. I really wanted to kind of love this, but it's so short. It's just about baseball. I love baseball. I love baseball films. I love baseball documentaries. I'm nostalgic about it to some extent, even though I'm not really a huge sports fan in general. But yeah, it just didn't do it for me. Mm-hmm. So I'm sorry.
I mean, I guess my thing for being a poem, and I don't think poetry is King's strong point. Period. I don't get anything out of the story other than isn't baseball great when you're in the city? And I don't know. I think that was I mean, it's so short.
When you smell steamed Franks and 8 p.m. dirt.
Yeah,
that's a line from the poem.
Yeah. It's just the imagery it just feels a little clunky to me. And I mean, it's so short. Whatever. I can't hate it, but yeah, I just didn't really get anything beyond being starry-eyed about baseball in the city to me.
I can imagine if you are someone who's familiar with the plethora of proper nouns bandied about in this poem, that you might glean onto its atmosphere. I'm just not familiar with all the names mentioned, and not familiar with baseball as intimately as he is. I think it's kind of cute that he mentions in the notes that it's been kind of reprinted, especially in places for baseball aficionados, and so it's found its niche, but not in me. Right. I literally couldn't understand it.
Yeah, I mean, as someone who grew up playing softball and baseball and watching it for years, I mean, I could understand that. But again, I think after reading Heads Down and then getting to this, I was just kind of overhearing about baseball. And so it was just kind of now King decided to be a poet. And I've never seen, I don't know if he has other poems that are out there that I don't know about.
He has
a poem in Night.
What was it? Paranoid, a chant. I think that's in Skeleton Crew.
They're
right?
all bad. They're all
bad.
They're
not great. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
well,
I'm not missing anything.
Does anybody else have anything?
I would be curious. I mean, it sounds like Aisha knows more than we do about baseball and didn't like it. I would be curious to see if a Justin Gerber likes this poem. Right. Also, but I'll say this: if
news alert, he did not. He didn't like this.
Spoiler
And he didn't
alert.
lay head down, and he's a big baseball head. So, all right. Well, does anybody else have anything to say about Brooklyn August before we move on to the next?
There's some nice, I guess, repetition of like devices. The rhyme with grows and slow and row on row. That was a little bit pleasing. I don't know anything
that
about
whole
poetry.
passage right there. It sounded like people were really trying to drag that out of you, Mel.
Yeah.
I guess it's fine.
I just don't want to lie to y'all.
Yes, there's some words that rhyme.
Who's Jim Bishop? It says for Jim Bishop.
Yeah, I don't know who that
I
is.
don't know. Good question.
Is it?
I was gonna say Randall. You want to look that up? Randall's a ghost on this episode, by the way.
Jim Bishop is. Hold up. Did he say it in the? It was his baseball coach.
Okay.
No, I don't know.
Oh, for
I'm
real?
just making that up.
Well,
I'll do
Well,
some detective work.
it didn't do
We're
anything
gonna-
for us, I guess is the conclusion.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
true. And that's why it's dead last in this collection. Hot on the heels of Brooklyn August, number 23, The Beggar and the Diamond. Thoughts?
Is it a baseball diamond?
I really thought it was.
Parallels.
Bet. Oh yeah,
Because
so,
it comes
sorry.
out, isn't this the last story?
It's
Yeah,
not
it's-
even in the
it's-
table of contents. He just
it's
tacked
after
it
the
on
notes.
like a...
Jim Bishop was
It's a
is
secret
his
story.
editor. I
Oh,
confirmed.
okay.
He was a former English instructor at the University of Maine who taught King, and he edited Hearts in Suspension, which is King's nonfiction book about college. Sorry to digress right there.
No, I asked
I
you.
No,
answered.
that we were wondering.
Yeah. But hey, back to The Beggar and the Diamond. So, all right, really quick. A parable is like a story with a lesson, right? With kind of
Yeah.
biblical overtones a little bit. Is that the exact definition?
I just feel like it's just like, yeah, you're learning a lesson from whatever the story is.
What did y'all learn from this?
Never
I learned-
again.
I learned that King is like not at all shy about being like, I appropriated this story.
Yes.
in his
I'm sorry.
author's note.
Does anyone know
That
why he
was
wrote
kind
this?
of funny, yeah.
It's kind of fun.
When he wrote the Beggar and the Diamond?
Or why
I'm not
he
sure.
wrote, like, why did he decide to, I guess, reinterpret it or almost word? I don't know if it's word for word because I forgot to look up the actual parable. But I just kind of was wondering why he thought it was to take upon himself to write the story and add, like, tack it on there.
I don't know.
Someone want to
gotta
read?
think,
Someone,
like-
someone read the little author's note.
Here, I got it.
Yeah,
It's,
okay.
Author's note. This little story, a Hindu parable in its original form, was first told to me by Mr. Surendra Patel of Scarsdale, New York. I've adapted it freely and apologize to those who know it in its true form, where Lord Shiva and his wife Parvati are the major characters.
But he never told me why he wrote this.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
I-
just yeah, I don't know.
I
you know,
bastardized it.
Yes.
Yeah, it
to me,
is
it's
weird
like
in
his
a-
editor, who to me, it's like he was like, oh, there's not enough stuff in this. Maybe my editor will appreciate this if I throw it in at the very end, but it'll be a little secret. I'm not going to put it in the table of contents.
To me, it felt like
And-
when you are trying to get a guest out of your home and they're like, can I just have another glass of water? Like, unexpectedly. Like, I'm like, why is there another story behind the notes about the stories?
One, it's weird too that he, and I think this is what I mean too about backloading some of the oddities in the in this book. Like so in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in these last like 6 stories, you've got the fifth quarter, which is a crime thing. Okay, King's written crime before, maybe it's not that, but then you have the Doctor's Case, which is this weird Sherlock Holmes riff. Then Umney's Last Case, which is more traditional King. Then Head Down, which is this nonfiction baseball story. Then the baseball poem. Then the appropriate parable. It's just like a string of just, I feel like dumping all the shitty stuff at the end. And I know King doesn't think this is shitty, but it just felt, the last stretch of this book felt so strange to me.
Well, kind of going back to the intro, to me, it felt like, the whole story about, the old man, like, with the cane looking or not looking at this diamond that's right in front of him.
A diamond the size of a tangerine.
From Dark
Wait,
Knight?
what?
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. That's my
Michael
terrible
Caine's-
Michael Caine impression.
Michael Caine's line from
Some
Dark
people
Knight,
just
I
want to
kept
watch
thinking,
the world burn.
Is that the diamond the size of a tangerine?
Of a tangerine.
Yeah, no, not the same thing, but really, it's like, it's a good story. It's the Dark Knight. Sorry.
Well, no, my whole thing with that, though, is that Mel was saying in the intro, like, how he's kind of setting it up that if you don't like the stories, it's like you're kind of ruining the fun. And I felt like this was kind of like, well, here, all of these diamonds are in front of you, and if you're closing your eyes, you missed it, you know? I feel like it's just kind of like a little fuck you at the end.
Maybe there's, because in this collections, he always likes to have some previously unpublished stuff. But no, there's still, let's see, there's 4 previously unpublished works in here, including this one. Because at first I'm like, oh, maybe they wanted to make it more marketable and have some never before read stories. But Omni's Last Case wasn't published. House on Maple Street wasn't published. And The 10 O'Clock People wasn't published. And Sorry Right Number, the screenplay wasn't either. So I feel like he had plenty of other material to draw them in. But yeah, it is sort of a... And it's not quite short enough to just feel like a little button to end things on. You know what I mean? Like, it's not... Yeah, go ahead.
If we say this is a parable, what is the lesson it is teaching? Can anyone condense it into a sentence?
Don't close your eyes just because.
But I feel like it is. I think that the lesson is that we will only find what we are prepared to find, or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's not realizing what's in front of you.
Yeah,
but then
I
mean, because he was well, my thing is that didn't he decide to like close his eyes only because he was like, I need to stop complaining so much, and realize, like, appreciate the good things in life.
So you're meant to side. You think the beggar is like, why? It's like we're meant to think he's wise to bypass the diamond and to like get the cane instead. I feel like.
But I feel like to me, it sounds like he's trying to make sense of the world, and he's trying to kind of anticipate what he thinks is what he should be doing. And he's saying out loud, like, well, what I really should be doing is like, being thankful for the fact that I have my eyesight. So I'm going to close my eyes and do this and this and this. But I don't know. It's like kind of like almost trying to make sense of the world, or trying to understand it, when it's like, no, this isn't your world to understand this. Like almost trying to be God, And then
like
I
when
feel
you
like by doing that, he misses the treasure that's right in front of his eyes by trying to think about things too much. And I think that's what King's trying to say with this just short story set, where he doesn't want you to think too much about these stories. He just wants you to kind of enjoy them in general.
I feel like the ungenerous reading is like people who are poor and unfortunate get there because they are like willfully blind. Like it's like an enforcement of class divides that this guy like won't ever leave his caste because he's convinced himself that he should be grateful for what he does have.
And not to go above that, or like work for something different.
Yeah. Or like think that he deserves more.
And like, maybe that if you don't appreciate what you have, where when you start appreciating what you have, better things come along. Because then he's supposed to find the walking stick later. I mean, he's supposed to find the walking stick later. So maybe that's kind of the point. If you focus on what you have now and the good things in life, it gives you the motivation, or it leads you on a path towards even better things, like motivation, good energy, positivity, like leads you to better things. I don't know. I'm stressing real hard.
That's a more generous reading than like, stay in your lane, poor person. I'm
trying to think of it from the Hindi? Yeah, from the Hindi point of view, because I haven't read the original version. So.
And didn't he say? I read somewhere that the original version was focused on 2 different characters, more so that this was kind of like, well, here's this character that's in the story, and we're just going to focus on him more so. I think I read that somewhere. So it's not exactly the actual Hindi parable. So it's like very.
I think God was Shiva, and then instead of it being like an archangel, it was his wife.
But they're still talking about a beggar.
I think you're right.
Right. Oh, but I don't know if the dynamics of like husband and wife versus like God and like archangel. I don't know if that even
that definitely changes things, I think.
It just speaks to the vagueness of the parable that none of us can really parse it.
Well, if you'd all join me in closing your eyes and skipping past these two stories we just talked about, this poem and The Beggar and the Diamond, I think it's time to move to number 22, The Fifth Quarter. Now, The Fifth Quarter, I believe, was kind of coming from a Bachman-esque, because it's very a gangster tale, and it has that kind of Richard Bachman feel. What do you guys think?
His single note on it is Bachman again, or maybe George Stark.
Ooh, a little.
I don't know. I mean, I think. Yeah. What if George Stark did write this? Do you think it would be better or worse?
I think it'd be better because my issue with this story is that it almost felt, and I actually like a lot of King's crime detours into crime, but it felt a little quaint to me. I don't know. It just felt so slight, like the actual event that happens. Was anyone a fan of this story? I certainly wasn't, but I don't know if anyone else was.
It was definitely not my lowest, for sure. It wasn't something that I overall enjoyed. It was just like, that's a good story, I guess. He gets revenge for his friend and then just kind of rides off into the sunset with fear in his heart because someone might come for him. Is the concept of that?
It's just kind of like a little chestnut, like a little chestnut.
Yeah, this one was kind of in the middle for me because it was just kind of like fine, I liked a couple of moments in the story. I think the scene when when the lead character is like shining the flashlight around the room and then he hits the guy and his eyes are like glowing green like
Sarge,
in the light, like really quickly. Like I really liked that description. That was kind of cool. That's really all I really remember from the story. I mean, basically, it's this guy. I mean, yeah, the guy's got, what is it? It's five portions of this map.
No, there's 4.
There's 4, but what's the fifth quarter?
It's the person. He's the fifth quarter.
He's the extra.
Yeah, he's that. Yeah.
This story really stuck with me, y'all.
Well, I think also, I don't know, it did feel a little bit like a precursor to. I think it's in Everything's Eventual, The Death of Jack Hamilton, which is this John Dillinger story that I actually like quite a bit. And I think the reason I dig that one a lot more is because it's kind of about John Dillinger's. I think it's like his last days on a farm, or he's dying or something. And I feel like it's just much more character driven. The action's almost an afterthought. Whereas with this one, I felt like the big payoff, this fifth quarter thing and this kind of single action scene we get. It's not a spectacular enough payoff with enough fireworks to make the story just hang its hat on that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it would be one thing if there's other stuff. Yeah, we're going to say no.
This is a discussion we're probably going to have multiple times over the course of these stories, is like conceit over character, which I think is this collection's main problem. This felt like there's so many problems here. One is that King is really bad at dropping us into anything in media res because he's so reliant on exposition anyway that even when he tells things linearly, you can kind of get bogged down. But if you start in the very middle, you're like, oh man, like it's just really not his element. And you become aware that his whole goal with the story seems to me to have created like 3 different kind of cool Tarantino-esque personalities that he just wants to introduce and kill summarily. And for a second, I got really interested because I think it's Sarge, or maybe it's the last person that the main character encounters.
Jasper or whatever? Jagger.
Mm-hmm. Jagger. It's Mick Jagger.
I knew it.
Hey, everybody just cool out.
He refers to the protagonist as beautiful. He's like, where are you, beautiful? And I was like, oh, has this been a woman the whole time? And I sort of like turned it on its head for me. And then I was like, no. I like went back and I was like, it's definitely not a woman. This guy's just weird. And so I wrote, I don't care at all. That's my only note for this story.
I was also wrong about that Dillinger story. It's not Dillinger's dying, it's someone else. Sorry, I just want to clear the air so no constant listeners come after me. But yeah, I totally agree with what Mel is saying about conceit over character. And I think with some of these stories that works really well. I mean, it kind of, if most of the stories have one move, it kind of depends on what the move is, right? Like Chattery Teeth to me has one move, but it's a really good move, and it's so weird and different compared to this one, which is essentially just a shootout, I guess. And so yeah, when there's nothing leading up to it, it just lands a little flat for me.
Well, I mean, if we were to theorize as to the goal of the story, like I feel like maybe he just thinks it's interesting enough as a slice of life from a person who is this versed in like everyday crime, and like is that interesting?
Yeah, I was kind of confused in the characters because was it the main character's Jerry? Because at certain points he seemed very well versed in being a criminal. This wasn't his first rodeo, but then there would be flashes of him being nervous or afraid, and I wasn't sure if this was his first time doing it as a character. But I agree with Mel where it just kind of felt like I got dropped in, and there were certain characters that he over-explained and others that I just felt in the dark about. And then again with Jagger, when he popped in, he had the potential to be an interesting antagonist, especially even though the beautiful part was a little off, it could have taken another turn with how we portray certain villains. And I thought he could have been an interesting character, but then he just trips over Sergeant's body and dies, basically.
Yeah. Even the relationship between the protagonist and the dead person is never kind of full. Like, ostensibly, this is because he's sort of he's both, like, avenging his friend and trying to get this money. But, like, it seems like avenging his friend is still a priority, but we don't know really anything about that relationship.
Right. Gary Sinise could not save this.
This is Gary Sinise doing this one?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I mean, that makes sense. It's kind of a rural setting. Gary, but yeah, I mean, he's a great actor, but it sounds like his dulcet tones were not enough, or his grizzled tone was not enough.
Do y'all think that this would have been a good Bachman book if it was expanded?
I feel like it's impossible to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on what he did with it. I mean, I like it better than Rage and Road Work. Well, I don't know. If he expanded to the point where he could really lay out that's my
meaning,
mechanisms. Yeah, like if he could get to the point where it's so artfully plotted and well, I don't know. This is my issue with his crime stuff. I like a lot of his straight up crime books. But when it gets to the full-on detective genre, which I know this wouldn't fall into, but like the Hodges trilogy, because on one hand I'm like, if he expanded to a full book, he could really go into this into detail. But then I think about The Outsider and the Hodges trilogy, I'm like, I don't know, sometimes he falters when he does that. But if he made this maybe a lean and mean 150-page novella type deal, and just really went into the mechanics of the plot and just added a little bit more pizzazz to it, maybe it could be okay as a Bachman book.
Mm-hmm. It just feels to me like he wants to write a Quentin Tarantino like short film.
Oh, man. I just like picture the keyboard like, listen, you fucking like just trying to.
Well, just picture the scene with Sarge and the cowardly guy and the protagonist is like incredibly Tarantino. Like one of them is kind of like weeping and Sarge is like, shut your mouth, and like he's got two guns trained on him, and
it's like, shut your mouth, you pissant.
I could see Tarantino just like leaning over him in the director's chair, just saying, like okay, so like when are they gonna turn to werewolves?
He's like, can you see from Dust to Dawn? I like the vampire stuff too. Come on, Steve.
I'm into the blood, sex.
Well, the fifth quarter, and I think it sits pretty comfortably at 22. Did anybody have this higher in their rankings? I'm going to start asking that as we continue because
let me pull up my individual rankings
because I feel that as we continue, I think some of these stories are going to be a lot higher on people's individual rankings.
Right. So I went
rather than kind of,
I went 1 through 22. Fifth quarter was 19, so pretty bad.
Okay. Well, lucky 19.
I went 1 through 24, and I had this at the very last, which is weird because I feel like I had Brooklyn August right above this at 23, and I actually think I had the Beggar and the Diamond pretty high. I don't know. I feel like I did not high, but like 16. So like and I don't know. But I made these rankings right after I finished. And I was kind of keeping track as I read. So I feel like I would put the Beggar and the Diamond. Honestly, I would probably go with about how we're going so far. Put the two poem things at the very bottom. Yeah, I would. I would probably put the fifth quarter. I would maybe put Head Down lower than that.
No, we're not there yet.
I know. I'm like baffled by my rankings because I feel like
takebacks. You got to still.
I know. Sorry, I'm like having an inner crisis because I feel like I have Head Down higher than it should be. Sorry. Anyway.
Now hold on,
Dan. Sorry.
Now I had this at 16.
Wow.
And I still stand by that, because the problem is that I feel like I just had so many that were either the same rating or like right next to each other. And then and I was grading these as I was going, not thinking of like, okay, is this better than the first 5 stories I've read? You know what I mean? So going back, it was hard because I was like, oh, well, all these are kind of around the same. And then I was like, well, I definitely think I'd like this one better than this one. But I also kind of, after you sit with things for a while, you have kind of maybe have a different rating, or maybe you like it a little bit more. And so I think when I went back to my ratings, some of those ratings changed a little bit when I saw what it was next to.
Right, sure. That's part of the process.
Absolutely. Right. Aisha, did you have this anywhere different, or do you think was this pretty low for you?
Mine was like 15 or 16. Honestly,
it's neutral.
Yeah, because there were other ones that I didn't like more than this one. Like there were glaring issues that stuck out to me more than in this story, so it kind of fell in the middle.
Yeah, that's why I feel weird about ranking it dead last, because I get why I did, because it's so unmemorable, but there's nothing egregious in it necessarily. So I don't know, guys. I'm just doubting myself right now looking at this list, feeling bad.
You gotta charge ahead, Dan.
I know. I have to own my choices. But anyway, should we continue?
Right.
Well, I think that's it for the 5th quarter, and we're gonna move to number 21 on the list, and that is Dedication.
Oh boy, here we go.
This was pretty low on my ranking. Apparently, King states that this was the inspiration for Dolores Claiborne. Does anyone have thoughts on that before we move into the actual story?
I mean, beyond, we talked about this on the Dolores Claiborne episode, beyond just being about I guess you could illustrate some similarity between the dynamic of a person of lower means having to tend to someone of higher means, and both resenting and admiring them a little bit. Like, I'm thinking about the Dolores Vera relationship, but that's so different though. Like, narrative wise, it's just so different from what this is. So maybe he was just trying it out as a character. This idea of a housekeeper, or in this case a hotel maid. Man, I don't even know where to begin with this story. I feel it's so notorious, and I don't think has aged well, and it's just kind of gross.
That's. Yeah.
I want to hear what I would like to hear Isha's thoughts on this.
I think maybe that's.
I have a question.
Take it away.
Who was this author that he said was inspired? Did anyone ever find out? Because I tried to look, and someone had said he said he would reveal it, and it was still 20 years later, and that was like a note from 2018. So I have no idea who he.
Yeah.
So you're talking about in the notes he says this was inspired by a famous author who was notoriously an asshole.
Was it Pat Conroy? Maybe that's who reminded me of, like, just writing this kind of Southern macho fiction about the war. That was the only name that came to mind for me, but I don't know.
I had a brief thought, and I was like, I wonder if he's talking about. This is before I read it. Yeah. I was like, I wonder if he's talking about himself. Like, he's like, but he's like, one day I'll tell you how much
I only thought that now. Yeah.
I don't know. Honestly, I had it higher on my list than where it is, only because the cringeworthy scene where she sucks the semen off the sheets and can't stop herself. So for me, that was a kind of horror, so I had it ranked a little bit higher. But it just kind of felt like, I don't know, just an excuse to use every negative possible word, phrase, stereotype, and get it out there under the guise that he's talking about this author who is coming to visit. And I couldn't really understand why I guess they called her a voodoo priestess or
a bruja.
A bruja. Yeah, there was so much crossing and mixing of cultural things as well, in terms of bruja and like Black Creole type mysticism and religion. And I was like, where did you get your information? Who was your resource for this?
I don't think he had one.
He seemed like he took a lot of creative license, honestly, with that one. And I think one of my notes is literally just WTF written out very long.
My first two
Like
are
every
just
page.
this is so weird and gross, and then this is so weird and gross.
Was it? There was one point where he said that shit about, or no, my note was that shit about how men are dark on the inside, but when they come, it comes out as white light out of the darkness. And
You never thought that before?
I didn't either. I paused, and I think Lindsay Krause was the one who read this one. I don't know.
Lindsay Krause, yeah.
Interesting.
It's weird too because then the sorry, the line about the all men are white, and so then it's doing this weird thing. Even though I think he's trying to do a very anti-racist story, he is still equating whiteness with goodness, right?
Which he does in everything he writes, ever.
Right, because the father is like, why does the natural father have to be this white racist man just because he's famous? I was like, I'm sure there are tons of other people in that come to that hotel that she could have used. And also just the shifty inwardness of how they present her husband. Mm-hmm. Like, why does it always have to be the narrative of like the abusive, shifty, no good, thieving, like black male with this woman? I don't know. There was a lot of issues I had with this.
I took a lot of notes on the stories that I found to be like genuinely offensive. And I found this one he's simultaneously trying to implicate white people for their racism while doing A, racist dialect, like which he's like really good at. And B, engaging in that weird sort of colorblindness where he's sort of equating everyone through the witch character and her view of like equal opportunity assholes. There's some great homophobia in here. Like it's disgusting on so many levels to me. It's like I might be into a story that debases someone through a bodily brand of witchcraft, but the wrong person is certainly debased here. Like her gender, her race, what she goes through, especially in service of her son who wants to write masculine war stories. She has to ingest dried semen so that her son, not her, can channel talent, which is just more war stories, while the white man in the transaction only has to eat half of a gross penis mushroom. And I think like it's doubly fucked for what it portrays, and then the gleeful sort of naivete that suffuses it. Like what's most offensive to me is how it thinks it's pushing boundaries in only one juvenile way, and then it's like completely ignorant of how it's actually straight up trash. Like it doesn't set out to offend on high stakes lines. It actually considers itself rather enlightened, and that just like adds to what's really disgusting about it.
I kind of feel like he patted himself on the back after he wrote this.
Yeah, like when he reads that passage where he's like, Martha... When he reads that passage where like Martha's reading the guy's books because she's really interested in seeing like what is it about these books, and then she's like, I kind of like them. I'm like,
he might be a racist and terrible person who celebrates the death of people and has Nazi parties, but he's a great writer, and that just trumps everything.
And he's being precious about writing again. He's like, writing is it's like not even, it doesn't matter what the person is. It's like this weird external talent that moves through you, like semen.
That makes him better. And I forgot what he said at the end or towards the end where to explain his character, that him writing makes him, gives access to this like happy, cheerful world that he wishes he had access to, but doesn't. He's like a romantic. And I was like, what kind of BS are you writing on this page to get me to like? Are you trying to get me to like this character?
Right.
No, what's weird about this story? So it has $2 baby adaptations of it.
That's
yes, I saw.
Reprehensible.
That's way too many.
To get this, that's weird. Both directed by women, which makes it the only dollar baby story to exclusively be directed by women. One of them is a black woman, which is the one that came out a few years ago. And then this other one, I think it's about to come out, is a white German one. And I was trying to find these adaptations online because I'm like, well, I don't know, maybe like with the right person directing it could be really good. Maybe they're getting at some nuances that I'm not seeing in the story. I couldn't find it anywhere, but I did find a picture of these two women, the two directors. They met up in Germany randomly, and it was like they have this Facebook photo. It's like, oh, the two directors of Stephen King's Dedication, and like I'm so curious to see these adaptations at this point. Yeah. I'm not saying that makes the story good or anything like that. I just am like genuinely curious what.
No, I am as well.
It.
I would love to be a fly on the wall during whatever conversation occurred between those two women.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, and these are like the one who directed the version that already came out. She's a pretty renowned chef and photographer, and like the trailer, like the stills look good. Like it looks like these were pretty artfully made adaptations. And honestly, I'm more curious. Like, did they change anything narratively? I'm just really curious to see what they've done with it. So hey, if you're out there. Directors, hit us up. Send us a file, or maybe not. Maybe I'm the only one who'd be interested in seeing that.
No, I'd like to see because I saw it was two women who did that, and I want to see what they did with it.
Yeah. This was lowest on my list. This was 22.
Oh yeah, where was it for everybody else?
I'm with Isha that I had it higher, not because I think it's great by any means. But I hate to say this, like, I did remember it a little bit more than stuff like Fifth Quarter, and like the grossness was so gross that I'm like, ugh.
I remember Human Centipede.
No, I knew you guys were gonna say that. I never was like, oh, it did. Like, no, but I think it's not high on there. I think I've got like 19 or 20 or something like that. So it's still pretty bottom of the barrel. But I was I almost couldn't believe it was written. You know what I mean? So I mean, if Human Centipede was in this collection, I would probably put it pretty high also. But yeah, I mean, so it was still low for me, but was not the bottom of the barrel. And maybe I don't know if it's bad just to put the boring stuff at the bottom below the problematic stuff. But there were just a couple of really, really boring stories that I just didn't remember super well when I ranked them.
Yeah, I had it pretty low as well.
Yeah.
It was probably, I think it was like, I don't think there's only 3 that were under it. But
what would have happened if one of us was like,
defending dedication?
Yeah, like this is number 5 for me.
After all this vitriolic talk, someone's just like, well, I actually had it number 2.
I mean, I had heard about I mean, I must have read this story when I was little. I'm sure I blocked out my memory, but this was rereading it. I mean, I'd heard so much about this story before, like bad things about this story before.
I had heard so much that I thought it literally didn't exist. I was like, people talk about this story like it's an urban legend, but he didn't actually write it. And then I was like, oh my God, like it's real.
I definitely think I put it higher too because of the audacity he had to put it out there. I was just like, you know what, Steven? Because I was really pissed about Heads Down, so I think anything for me was higher than Heads Down.
That's the thing. Like I think like Brooklyn August and Head Down, like these kind of boring. And look,
guys, we're gonna get into it when we get there.
I feel like I'm putting my foot in my mouth because like Dan thinks it's cool to put interesting racist stories above boring stories, and that's not what I'm saying. But like. Yeah, there's something just really...
it stuck to you.
Dig that grave, Dan.
Man, the imagery in this story, that man slurping dried semen off a bed sheet, just...
I will say, that was in the cemetery for me. That was pretty gruesome.
It's like in the cemetery behind the cemetery. Like,
It's so gross, too, because she talks about it like, ooh, I just couldn't help myself. Like,
right?
It's so nasty.
Yes.
Oh man,
disgusting.
The relief she had that she didn't have to suck the sheets anymore was the same relief I had for her.
I wrote page 247, scooping up and eating quote unquote Jeffrey's jizz.
Oh God.
Just abysmal.
I looked up also Stephen King, John Grisham, Pat Conroy, and Peter Straub have all talked at events together. So King would know Pat Conroy. They might be friends. I don't know, but he was. When I just heard Southern like war fiction, I immediately went to him, but it might not be him. Who knows?
Well, let me ask you this: do you think Conroy has a pretty pony? Because that's our next story, clocking in at number 20.
I would say he does because he's dead,
pony.
And time got him. The pretty pony got him. So
yeah. Well, there you go. Did anyone love this story?
Dan does.
Was
Dan
this higher
loves
for
it.
everybody? Was this like number 5 for someone?
Is that for real?
Now,
I do.
Now reading about
really
the background on this. Now, hold on. The background on this, I believe that this was supposed to be a Bachman book. He was thinking of writing a full-length novel, and this was going to be like a flashback in that book. But then he ends up just giving up and just writing the My Pretty Pony story. Dan, why do you think this is some of King's best work?
I love what Mel was saying. I just picture like us all sitting next to each other, Mel like pointing, like, "Look, he liked it. He did it." Like she's tattling on me for putting a kick me sign on the teacher.
It's okay. This is going to be me in a little while, so it's fine.
I mean, I feel like you had such an articulate takedown of dedication. I don't have an equally articulate appraisal of this story, but I guess just going off of memory, this is what I dug about it. I will say it toes the line between the folksiness we talk about and being genuinely touching and nostalgic, and I recognize that the dialogue between the grandpa and the kid can get a little folksy and a little precious. But I just really like this central metaphor of time and death being a pretty pony, this thing that that lures you and you're kind of always chasing after. I don't know, that just stuck with me, and I'm always a sucker for stuff about old people dying in general, I think. Jeez. And I like that. I felt like there was just enough color to the dialogue between the grandfather and the kid to make it sweet, but then also with him dying at the end, it has a little bit of bite to it, and I just felt like it was a really realistic assessment of time and aging and mortality, which I actually think King does pretty well across the board. I think it's one of his stronger suits. That's why I really dug it. It was the kind of one non-nasty, gross horror story that I really liked in this collection. I really tend to go more toward the really nasty-ass shit in Nightmares and Dreamscapes. So I like the nightmares, but this is the one dreamscape that really stuck high with me. It just resonated with me. That's my defense of it. But sounds like I'm alone.
Dan,
what do you say?
Did you particularly like the Peter pinches that were strokes?
Mm-hmm.
The Peter pinches. Oh, him pinching his cheek or whatever.
I think
his sister.
Wait, say all right.
Yeah, his sister is like fully molesting him.
That's what I was like.
His sister is like definitely touching this guy.
His penis.
Oh yeah. I don't know, man.
Maybe just like say the word. She's touching his penis.
I just heard Dan say, "Oh well, I don't know."
No. Hold on. Look at the order of this. I was like, oh, was I just? I mean, it's after. Maybe I was just numbed from dedication because it's after dedication that everything else just seemed quaint to me when it came to sex. I don't know, man. Brothers and sisters do weird, gross shit to each other.
No.
Oh, look, I'm not trying to say
this isn't a Lena Dunham situation.
No. I cannot get canceled off of this story. It's not fair. No. What? No, sorry, get back.
Sorry, no, you go ahead and defend it.
You guys are assholes. No, I'm not saying. Look, I can enjoy some aspects of the story and appreciate them without endorsing. I have to admit that Peter pinches, I had forgotten about them until y'all just mentioned them. And once again, I hope that doesn't say gross things about me. I
think it's not like a story containing molestation makes it a worse story. Like that's not what we're saying. We just think it's funny that you didn't pick up on.
No, I'm sure I did when I read it. I think I just forgot. I read these stories so long ago at this point. Like COVID.
Look, Dan, I wrote it down in my misery section for this story. That's the only reason why
I didn't write. I didn't think we were doing sections, so I didn't write it down. But all right, wait.
I loosely used our sections so that I could kind of have a template here for my thoughts. There is some King's Dominion.
Let me ask you this, though, real quick, before we get into that stuff.
Okay.
All right. Obviously, y'all didn't like it. That's totally cool. Did anyone at least appreciate the central metaphor of it, just the kind of conceit of the story, or was it lame to you and cheesy? The idea of the pretty pony.
I mean, it's universal.
Yeah. Honestly, I didn't like the use of a pony as a description of time, but I did like the idea of the story of how you get older and how time moves with you. Because I mean, that's something I'm experiencing now in my 30s. Like, what the hell is happening? Every day is flying by. But it was kind of just a slow story for me that there were little parts that popped into my head. I think when he talks about Levi's, and in my head I was like, I've never heard Levi's or certain kinds of jeans described as Jew pants or Jewsers. Mm-hmm. And then there was a part where he talks about the natural man when he's talking to his grandson about, I guess, a game that he was playing. Yeah, the game he was playing earlier, hide and go seek. And he says, you didn't do no bitching about it. And that was right, because a natural man never does no bitching. They call it bitching because it ain't for men or even boys smart enough to know better and brave enough to do better. And I was like, I don't know.
Gross.
There's probably that goes into the idea of like the word bitch and how it's used with females and how it's usually like a negative female connotation sometimes. And then this way it felt like that. It's like you're calling another way of calling him a little girl if he was out there bitching, but a real man doesn't cry or like, I guess defend themselves or I guess snitch. I don't know. There was for me that was
all of King's folksy-isms come with gender essentialism that always makes me really uncomfortable in that same way. Yeah. And I found this story so tiresomely folksy that it was like self-parodic. Like it was.
You hate the folksiness, Mel, right?
I do.
Like,
I mean, I will say, Dan.
New
I mean,
World
there is a sentence or two in here that I thought was masterful, which was he's talking about how time gets away from you, and this is after he's sort of done most of it, and he says he sighed, looking around as if to remember where exactly it was that they were. His face had a momentary look of utter helplessness that disgusted the boy as much as it frightened him. He didn't want to feel that way, but couldn't help it. It was as if Grandpa had pulled open a bandage to show the boy a sore, which was a symptom of something awful, something like leprosy. I thought that rang so true. And was really, really well done, but it was like a gem in a pile of fake gems. So
but I feel like and I think that's what I mean though, getting at this idea like of time and aging, just not just seeming sad and melancholy, but scary too. And I feel like for me, I'm always a big fan of sticking the landing, and I feel like sometimes I forgive other things in the story because the ending is so good, and I feel like the story veers more into that stuff at the end than it does dirty old poor Maine person, or is this in Maine? I can't remember. Yeah, I feel like it skews more toward the contemplative at the end than the gross-ass, folksy stuff. So, anyway, hey, I can't defend some of the stuff. I just like the story.
I mean, by folksy, I don't mean gross-ass stuff. By folksy, I just mean, like, cliched, saccharine, like, out here, we know what really matters.
Yeah.
Like,
but Pepperidge Farm remembers.
I do feel like
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
I do feel like more often than not, though, because of King being raised in blue-collar Maine, I feel like he usually puts those words in the mouths of lower-class characters, right? Or, like, poor characters or whatever you want to say. So, like, and I feel like King mixes... I don't know, it's kind of like a Tom Waits song in a weird way, right? Like Tom Waits doing these, like, very heightened, fictionalized, or stylized versions of impoverished people. So I feel like maybe that's why I associate folksiness kind of with, like, King's blue-collar characters a little bit more.
Yeah, I also feel like this to me, like I had just watched the movie 1900. Have you all seen that with Robert De Niro and Gerard Depardieu?
No, I don't think so.
It's long as hell, but it follows them when they're two children living like on this little province or whatever, and so it kind of reminded me a little bit of that kind of old fashioned imparting of this knowledge to children that are not ready for it. But when you get older, you try to make sense of it. I like the idea of the story, and I also like the idea that this could have been flashbacks to, because they said that when this boy grew up that he becomes this hitman, and that was what the real story was going to be, and this was just a flashback. And I was like, that's kind of cool, but just kind of pilfered from that and just kind of put into this short story collection. It just didn't ring true. Although I do like the pretty pony metaphor or whatever. Yeah.
Do you like the Peter Pinch? What is it? Peter Pinches?
Peter Pinches.
Peter
Pinches sound pretty awful, but the ones that were strokes sound uncomfortable. And with that, is anybody else have anything to say about this one?
That was number 20 on our list.
That was number 20.
Okay, I think that might be the only one where like my rating made it through to the average rating. It was number 20 for me as well.
Oh, this was, I think, dead last for me.
Did you all know that Jerry Garcia does the audio for this one?
Really?
Oh, that's
really
perfect.
The Grateful Dead singer?
Yeah.
That kind of makes sense in a weird way. What's his voice?
I feel like I'm missing a whole other experience of these stories.
know.
It definitely was a different experience. It doesn't sound like it, but he went very well into the folksy character, almost to a point. But I don't know. I didn't recognize it was his voice until I had to look it up afterwards.
Was it? Whenever I hear about these celebrities doing these, I always picture them saying just the worst phrases in it, like Peter Pinches or whatever. It's just funny to imagine. Or like, wait, who did you say did the dedication one again? It was someone.
Lindsay Krause.
I don't know what their voice. Yeah, me neither. I don't know what their voice sounds like.
She was terrible. My note was not a fan of her as a reader.
Man.
Oh.
She tried to do the.
Where was
she tried to do
yours?
ethnic voices.
Is she a white woman or?
I don't know. I'm about to look. Yes, she's an American actress.
She's one of those.
Yeah, but no,
American actress.
Yeah. Where did you have this ranked, Isha?
It was more. Where did I have it? I think I had it as like 18 or 19.
Okay.
Let me just check. 18 or 19.
This is all ringing.
Dan, where was it for you?
True.
Yeah, you're not gonna like where I have it.
Number 2.
Where is it, Dan?
It's number. I had it at number 5 for me.
Oh, it's close.
What? Wow, number 5. You heard it here first, folks. Dan Caffrey. Number 5, My Pretty
Removed
Pony.
from the group.
Well, let's go to another number. Not 20.
Good segue.
Let's move to
Matt.
19. I know. I'm trying to do Randall proud, and it's just I'm digging my own grave here. But we're gonna move to a number that even King likes, and that's 19. It grows on you.
Oh, I have another rant for this one. I'm really excited.
All right, Mel, why don't you start us off?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
The content of this story, were it delivered to me as a pitch or in a synopsis, would be really charming and amazing. I would want to read it. The execution of this story is hot garbage. This story is a small study in so many of King's faults. The purpleness of the prose is masquerading as thoughtful, cohesive detail while overwhelming the reader. From the descriptions of the setting to all the different names. The wind sniffs and then the heat sniffs later. There are metaphors everywhere. How can a smell of coffee beans be both vague and tremendous? And how is a shed crepuscular? Crepuscular means like having to do with twilight, like an animal is crepuscular.
Maybe he just went online and found a random word.
It's, it sort of reads like that. The treatment of Cora in this story is so bad that it verges on the epiphanic for King by the end. Like, he actually almost identifies what the problem with Cora is. He says something to the extent of, like, it's almost like she was just this sexual metaphor for all these men. Like, note how she herself is reduced to a piece of the setting. Like, she's described in the same way. She's meant to, quote-unquote, kindle, to, like, give birth. His point of view problem is only the first stepping stone in this issue. Like, one thing we talked about in Needful Things was whether this omniscient narrator has a voice or is channeling voices. And so can we assign sort of offensive or racist or fatphobic or sexist motivations to the actual narrator, or is it all kind of coming from the characters? And my viewpoint after this story is it actually doesn't matter, because there's never a voice that dissents with the portrayal of women like this. King and his characters are incapable of thinking that way. Like, women are either beauties or they're like enormous bags of grain. King cannot write about a fat woman or any woman he would find unattractive without casting her undesirability as her primary trait. For him, beauty, read thinness, a certain uniquely feminine serenity, almost always correlates with internal goodness, and ugliness, read fatness, loudness, a certain uniquely feminine overbearing presence, almost always correlates with internal badness. I was thinking about this, and Carrie kind of slides from one side to the other, but that only further supports the spectrum, because when she flirts with goodness, she appears more beautiful. Like, one is not possible without the other. I hated this story so much.
It didn't grow on you?
No. I wish
and
we
I know
could just
that we're
insert
returning to Castle
that
Rock,
story.
and I was like, wow, what a fucking like kick in the face to the Castle Rock legacy. And again, I like the conceit.
wow.
I really love the idea of like, wow, this house is like, there's annexes being added to this house, and like nobody really knows why, and it's got this really fucked up history. But this story was like so badly written and woven through with like all of King's sort of like awful bigoted blind spots. I guess he's not racist in it, so thank God for small favors. But like, that's probably because there's no people of color in it. So
this story was nominated in 1993 for Best Short Story Locust Award.
Are you?
I mean, it's like, now I will say this, okay? I didn't like it either. When I hit this story, I think I was like pretty into the whole entire short story collection so far. You know, there were some I didn't love, but I was definitely invested reading it. I lost my way so many times in this story. I had to go back multiple times to reread what I just read. I was like, what is the point? What are we getting at? And then I read that it was nominated for Best Short Story. I thought, I gotta go back and read this again. Am I just like missing something? Am I thinking of something else? You know, am I distracted? This was This was not a favorite of mine. This was definitely in the bottom tier there. Dan, did you have it really high?
I mean, I had it pretty high. I can't. But
I like that, Dan. I like that.
But I can't compete with me. Mel just had this like beautifully written, like that belongs like a New York Times book review prose. Like I can't argue. I feel like any praise I have, it's not going to stand up against that. So like, I feel like I need to concede and.
He did win an award, Dan. Like,
I mean, I don't know.
Like people were out there.
I don't mean to. Well, no, that's okay. I mean, I guess we can talk about this stuff. You know, I know this gets in the weeds a little bit, but you know, I do wonder if I maybe just have a bigger blind spot than I would like to admit when it comes to King's more problematic writing. Not that I don't identify it, because we've talked about it a lot on this podcast, but I do feel like maybe I'm more forgiving of it when I do like the central idea of a story. And I'm not saying that's a good thing necessarily, but I think I just have blinders on sometimes when it comes to reading that stuff, because I really love the idea of the town being this kind of parasitic thing, and just, I mean, I think King always writes about small towns as having this physical malevolence in them with a lot of artistry. We see it in Derry, we see it in Salem's Lot, and we see it in Castle Rock. And also, too, I read Needful... I guess all of you probably read Needful Things right before this. And there's issues in that with a lot of especially with a lot of the women characters. But it felt like tonally kind of in step with Needful Things to me. So I just enjoyed that it was a coda. And once again, it does get nasty in the kind of... Not possession, but whatever, the house or whatever taking over. In ways that I found genuinely to be scary. So... That's my defense.
I think it is a genuine. I would agree that there are moments in it that are really scary, and I also think, you know, I'm not. This is an accumulation that is kind of now pouring out of me. Like it's just I've read so much King that at this point I'm like, I'm fit to burst.
I haven't even read as much King as any of you, and there's just I feel. I'm not going to go over what Mel already went through, because she kind of went through a lot of the emotions and feelings I've had a lot with King's writing. But it had, I think, a lot of my disappointment outside that, because I've learned to kind of put this, not wall, but idea in my head that I have to like separate out all the issues that I have with his writing in general because of what we've just talked about, to try to glean out like the actual good writing. And this for me, the story had the potential to be good. I was expecting this house to have this kind of like malevolent or underhanded reason for what's going on with this particular main character that they talk about in his life. If the house itself had some sort of backstory that we were going to be clued into that is causing it to have all these issues, like maybe that drove Cora to die and like do all these things. But it just kind of, again, when I went back to read it and listen to it again, the way he describes Cora, and it was just kind of a blare, like an unnecessary, it seemed like an unnecessary description and then how he connected it with basically this is why she was a terrible person. Going back to what Mel said of like terrible on the inside, terrible on the outside. Only these pristine females can have some sort of like goodness to their soul. And also I was kind of annoyed that there were no other characters outside of these men just sitting around talking about it from the outside perspective. I wasn't really getting the horror that I wanted, and I think that was also a disappointment for me.
Yeah, and it's weird too, because, and I think you hit the nail on the head too, like when you have to kind of tease out the things you like about it. And for me, like I said, I think those often outweigh just the typical shit I come to expect from King. And yeah, especially with the fat phobia, right? I mean, he does every overweight woman he writes about like she's Grendel's mother. I mean, and that is, but I don't know, maybe it's like because I've seen so much of it, it's kind of like, oh well, whatever. I know that's an issue he has. I don't like that stuff, but I like the other stuff. But then it's funny because I think about someone like H.P. Lovecraft, and who has a big influence in a story we'll talk about later. And I've never been able to get into Lovecraft's writing for some of the same reasons you said, Mel, like the purple prose. With his case, outright racism and everything. And it's just interesting. I don't know why for me it's not as much of an issue for me with King, at least while I'm reading it, and it is with certain other writers. I don't know if that's just because I've read him since I was a little kid, but I
was gonna say that.
Yeah, but that's the same with a lot of you too. So I don't know. Yeah, and I guess it's just kind of an active question I want to keep front of mind as I continue these stories. I'm just like
it's true.
I just felt, and also too, just from a pure place of aesthetic and articulation and eloquence, the way Mel laid that out, I'm just like, shit. Like I was trying to think of like, what am I gonna say about what I like about this story? Because it was very well thought out, and I totally hear all of that too, and recognize it.
Again, I'm throwing everyone under the bus because I'm about to be under the bus, and I look forward to it.
Till the very
that
end.
Is
just
totally okay. That's totally okay.
I
thought that was
like
beautiful, and no, go ahead, Dan.
No, I love that we're having like wildly different opinions. Well, it is weird because I don't think we're at all running into a case of, no, these things aren't in the story. It's like, no, of course these things are in the story because they're in so many King stories, and I guess we're all having different levels of I don't even want to say tolerance, but just like you said, Mel, having an outpouring.
Like, though. Especially, too, I think the short story format, like, I just started getting so fed up because it was showing up in different contexts again and again. Yeah. Which, like, I think in a novel you might become inured to it more quickly, even though it's clearly also a problem in his novels. Like, getting it so visible as to be, like, a recurring thing in different contexts was, to me, just like, are you fucking kidding me?
Well, and short stories are, like, your thing, too, right? Like, I mean, that's like, what you...
They are indeed my thing.
Yeah, Mel's stories are great. You shall read them. She talks about fat women being monsters in it and all sorts of stuff. No, I'm kidding. No, she doesn't do that. I'm joking.
Well, that's actually I try to do it the other way. Like I do. Yeah. I'm trying to write more about like women who identify as fat and like monstrosity that goes along with that, and making it literal and powerful and everything that King doesn't want to do, but.
I weirdly enough have a pretty big section in one of my plays about the word crepuscular, so it did make me mad that he didn't use that correctly about the show. No, I'm not.
I love that.
That's my
made
that's
Dan
my big
start
issue.
critiquing this story.
The number one issue.
That's my big issue. Is he didn't know how to use a scientific term.
I don't care about all the other stuff Mel said, but I didn't like that.
Second to last for me. This is 21. Second only to dedication.
Ooh.
Man.
It grows on you is pretty low for me too. I had it at 17.
What do you have, Isha?
It's not that low, but
19.
I had it. I didn't have this as high as My Pretty Pony, but I had. Let's see. I have it at number 8, everyone. So.
Oh wow.
Dan, to be clear, I don't bear you any ill will over.
Oh no! I don't at all.
She'll meet you outside, Dan.
I hope. I hope I wasn't coming across as like flailing and defensive. I don't think you have will toward me.
Well, again, I feel like these are the best episodes because I like when everybody disagrees, because I think everyone kind of sees everybody else's point of view and is like, everybody, you're all different readers, you're all coming at it from different points of view, and I honestly, like, there were some things that Mel hit on that I was like, I didn't really pay attention to that, but I think it's because. I didn't read King growing up, but reading him now, I think it's because I expect him to do these things that I don't focus on those things when I'm reading these stories, because I'm just like, oh yeah, he's doing that again. But it's like I don't put it down in the notes. But I think that's kind of dangerous. So I'm glad like people are pointing it out and really going for the jugular, because I think it's just kind of that stuff just kind of I gloss over now, because it's kind of like, well, it's almost always there in a lot of his stuff. And I'm looking for other things like things to pull from it, but it's like, am I in that case? Am I willfully ignoring it? You know what I mean? Like so, but no, I think that's totally true though.
What Mel, when you talk about being an accumulation, and this being, and I know what you said about it being a short story, so there's just a lot more of it in a shorter space of time. But did you feel any of this when reading? Needful Things. Like, do you feel like it was a progression with his novels as well? Yeah.
I mean, Myra in Needful Things is treated the same, and all of her friends. The only beautiful woman in town is Polly, and she's thin and white, and she has arthritis. That's the only thing that's wrong with her. So it's like.
She can't be too perfect.
Yeah.
Give her arthritis.
And King loves to ennoble arthritis. That's like a thing that he does in like so many.
Is that his cause? I didn't know that.
I wonder if he had, he's been doing that since he was a young man. Because Glenn Bateman has arthritis.
Crandall has it.
It's a sign of wisdom.
Randall Flagg. Trash can, Trashy.
Cujo.
Start naming everybody. Cujo definitely had it. I have it. Maybe he'll write a story about me.
Not feel. I have a sense of being very fed up, and I'm sorry that kind of puts a sort of dour tone to my presence on this episode.
No, don't apologize.
No,
loved it.
Great. Love it.
And like you said, that was
King needs to hear this stuff.
He's not gonna.
He needs to hear it.
If his tweets are any
gonna write something new.
Yeah.
He's listening. He's like, man, I was really going to go on, and I was going to think about going on their show until we got to It Grows on You. It's too much.
I would love, Mr. King, if you're listening, I would love to talk with you.
He read this story himself too. He chose
really?
to read the story, so he must have been really happy with it.
I mean, it won a Lucas Award.
Please continue to tell us who's on what. I keep forgetting to prompt it, and I think that's so interesting to hear who's reading these on the audio, because I know that we have some fans that are really big into the audio stuff.
How is he as a reader, Isha?
It's just a nasally cadence that's not. It doesn't really. Maybe that's why he chose to read that story, because he doesn't have to exert any emotion or variance in personality. But yeah, just sounds like a nasally man from Maine speaking to me.
Nasally man from Maine. Well, on that note, we're gonna move on to our next story. And as the house continued to grow in the last story, we're gonna grow. Basically, we're on number 18, and it's Head Down.
What's the story?
Head Down. So can't wait to talk about Head Down. This is number 18. Look, clock's in at number 18, and I was told, because I did not include this in my rankings at all, that I was told by Randall that someone had it so high on their list that I have to rank it now. So I had to go back and rank it at that point.
Really?
Oh, so
Mel, are you ready? Are you ready to? Should you go last, Mel? Clearly, you liked Head Down, right?
I don't have anything written for it, because I think it's actually hard. When you like something, it's a little harder to be on a soapbox, as I just was. This was my number one. I'm sorry.
What?
I'm sorry, everyone.
Holy shit! Are you kidding?
I enjoyed this story
but it doesn't count as an essay.
Of the entire collection. I was riveted.
I kept waiting for something interesting to happen.
Oh my god!
What, Mel? Are you kidding me?
And
really?
you know what I think
no one needs to hear about his son's batting practice.
An editor from the New Yorker edited this story. He had a fucking editor who took out all of the shitty Kingisms. And I don't care about baseball. I don't care about Little League baseball, even less. I hate children. And I was totally, I was totally in suspense. I wanted them to win. I didn't look at the page numbers, which is what I was doing for other stories, thinking how long it was, even though it's the longest installment. I felt that his acknowledgement of his own proclivity towards cliche hit me very well. I thought it was great. I really liked it.
Man. But Mel, oh man, sorry, go ahead.
No, I want to hear why. Wow. Go ahead, Mel, because I had.
I mean, I can't
Mel,
defend
keep
it
going.
more than just I've thoroughly enjoyed it. It was like watching a movie, or I thought that he did it was a good bit of both nonfiction reporting. He clearly took a ton of notes and followed these kids. And I thought he kept himself out of it rather admirably. You wouldn't actually even know Owen was his son if you didn't make the connection between the names. And there's another King anyway. So I felt that he actually held himself at a professional distance in a way that he doesn't do with his fiction, and in fact literally inserts himself into his fiction sometimes.
I have to say that I was so disappointed in reading this one because of the fact that, to Mel's point, the writing led to me thinking that, especially when the championship game or the second round, where the other towns, there were people out there with their horns, and I am honking their horns while they were playing. And I was like, oh, is this the city of the dead, or there's people from the dead and this town is haunted by them, and if they don't win this game, they're going to go back and something terrible is going to happen. I was expecting this to go in such a great direction. And then I got to the end of the story and turned the page or flipped to the next page and was like, that was it. I just wasted 102 pages of my life. Literally.
You didn't know it was nonfiction?
I went into all of them I tried to not read anything beforehand about them, so that I just came in with like an open mind about everything.
Yeah.
So I didn't read about what it was. Like after I finished that one, I literally, my note was, how dare he make me listen/read to a story about his son's baseball team. And then I looked up what was going on, and I was like, that was for me when I messaged my dad, was like, I don't know if I can deal with Stephen King anymore. Like, how dare he?
Well, I was like really looking forward to it because, again, you know, I like sports stories and things. And I told Justin, I this was the last story that I was, well, I thought it was the last story, you know, but we had the parable. But I was about to read this story, and I said something to Justin about, well, I've got to read Head Down. And he was like, what's that? And I was like, you know, that the it looks like it's going to be a baseball story, but King, you know, I was talking about sending my ratings to Randall. I was like, oh, it's probably just going to be like, you know, like one of the best ones in the book. And Justin was like, no.
Wait, like Justin doesn't like it? Like, I thought I would have a kindred
spirit. He doesn't like it. He doesn't like it at all. And I couldn't believe it. And I'm just throwing that out there because it might have. I wonder if I would have saw it a different way. I think I was coming at it at that point just thinking this is not going to be any good. And I think I was just kind of bored the whole time. It just didn't go anywhere for me. Like,
I wonder if it says anything that I'm like a non-sports person and really liked it. And like people who have an understanding of the sport are like, this is boring.
Yeah. They're like, this is really just a batting practice. Like, you know, they just like can't handle it. No, this was pretty down there for me. Now, this was your number one, Mel?
This was such a breath of fresh air. Like, I was so excited. I was like, oh, it's nonfiction.
I love that. I mean, I actually love that is your number one.
He doesn't have any of the like bigoted.
I mean, that's great. Like, that's a plus. But honestly,
yeah, that's what I'm like. I could see that.
But honestly, no, like that's
a little
not
bit
why.
higher on my list.
That's not why. It's just I was really riveted. No, like I found it really suspenseful. I it was a page turner. Like I just really loved it.
I just picture you like go kids go.
I was like.
For me, I did not like this story. I'm not a sports person, but I did any of you read Dance Macabre? I can't remember who was on that episode. In Dance Macabre, he praises Ray Bradbury, but he also criticizes him for being a little bit too wistful when talking about aspects of childhood sometimes. I think the line here firstly specifically is when he's describing Will and Something Wicked This Way Comes. And he compares him to like, oh, he was the last peach high on a summer tree. And King specifically calls out that phrase as being a little bit too much, a little bit too purple, a little bit too sentimental. And that's kind of how I felt about this whole story. Now, granted, I don't think the prose itself was that overblown, but I feel like he was so fascinating and so starry-eyed about these kids in a way that I just wasn't.
I cannot believe that you are leveraging that complaint when you had Pretty Pony at number fucking 5.
No, but Pretty Pony stuck that landing for me, though, too. I mean, Pretty Pony at least had a thing it was leaning on that was really compelling to me, whereas this just didn't. And it's funny because, I mean, one of my earliest exposures to Stephen King was being at Little League practice, and my dad would read like a different Stephen King book in the bleachers or in the car while he was waiting for me. So I kind of weirdly do associate Stephen King with summer and baseball, and because the author likes baseball a lot. But yeah, I just with Mac, I mean, there was like touche. Like, I know I didn't like the sentimentality here, but I did like it in Pretty Pony. But
I feel like the restraint around the sentimentality here is why I like it, because it's not actually on the page. You actually have to intuit it by the attention that he's giving.
I do agree, but Daddy loves his trash, and I just like the. I just like some of that King nastiness in my Pretty Pony.
And you got none of it.
Yeah, I got none of it here.
Yeah, there was none of it there.
I didn't get anything either.
All cut out.
He worked me up for something and then just left me with blue balls about it. And I was like, no.
You wanted like the Maximum Overdrive scene where the bulldozer comes through and kills all the kids playing Little League. I mean, hey. I do love that King.
Ooh, I would have loved that. Yeah,
I do love.
You just kill these children.
I love
or something like there's a curse or something.
I love that King can write that. Write a scene in one of the most reviled movies in cinematic history where a bunch of kids get mowed down by a bunch of baseball playing kids get mowed down by a steamroller. But then also can write this. I do like that he operates both both ends of the
and
spectrum.
King himself says that he thinks this was the best thing he had written in the past 15 years. So
Yeah.
I'm with the big guy on this one.
If he's listening, he's like, all right, maybe I will go on their show after all.
But again, I think the New Yorker editing it has so much to do with that. I think this would have been another Pretty Pony if he hadn't had an editor helping him.
Man, I would have.
That kind of undercuts your.
Turned into a wild ride, everyone.
I know. Well, that my favorite thing is that if that's Mel's number one, I'm like, what is the rest of this list gonna show us?
From
what is gonna happen? Who's gonna survive? Are we gonna lose friendships during this?
let me see where I put this. I don't think I put it low. Let me see. I had this.
Oh, it was last for me.
Was dead last for you. Mine
it was dead last.
17 for me, so pretty low.
I don't have my rating where I included this, but I think I had it just above Pretty Pony. So now we have 5 more stories before we get to the story that almost made it to the top 12. The next one is number 17. Sorry, right number. Now this is the screenplay, and this thing I read this thing so quickly because of that format. I genuinely kind of like this one. I thought the twist was kind of like, I don't know. I felt like it would have worked as a 30-minute episode of Tales from the Dark Side. You know what I mean?
That's what it was. They made it into a. What's the show? It wasn't Tales from the Dark Side.
Right.
Was it Outer Limits or was it Tales from the Dark? Let me look this up real quick.
I have this written down.
I was going to say,
I was Tales from the Dark Side. It was.
Was it?
It was. Yeah. That's what I mean. I feel like it would have worked like that.
I think I don't know if I didn't read this one. I didn't have a chance to read this one, but I listened to it. And I think it read well in that sense because he had different voices for this as well. He didn't have just one person reading. So for me, I think that's why it was higher on my list. It didn't make it to my worst list. It was actually on my liked list. I didn't like it the first time, but then I listened to it again. And again, I like the twist of kind of she's like, I know this voice. I know me. And in my head, I was like, man, what would I do in that situation if I heard someone that I thought, and back in the day when you can't trace a call, figure out who called you have to rack your brain trying to figure out the connections, who could possibly have all this shit going on to them. And then she finds out a year later or a few years later that it was her calling from the future. So that was it was not the greatest twist, but it was a cute little. I was like, all right, King.
I think it was
one.
Yeah, it was a good single move like Mac and Mel said that I think would work well in an anthology TV format. I mean, honestly, but the only knock I really have against this story is the fact that it's plopping a screenplay in the middle of a short story collection. And once again, I know King has this defense of, oh well, it's all meant to be kind of a hodgepodge of different things. But I would disagree. To counter that, I would say a short story collection like Night Shift. Once again, I understand why all of those stories are in the same collection, whether they were pulled randomly from different sources or not. It's like an album, right? I like it when an album doesn't just feel like a collection of songs, and I think that a great short story collection can really feel like a unified beast and feel like something that is just as satisfying and complete as a novel. And when you have this screenplay, even just from a format perspective in the middle of it, I feel like it just takes away from the cohesion of the whole thing a little bit. But there's nothing really that I hate in this story other than its format. I wonder if it would have worked better if he had converted it to prose and not kept it in the screenplay format.
I didn't have a problem with the format, but I was like, he wrote what amounts to an unoriginal Twilight Zone episode. Maybe it was groundbreaking at the time, but I feel like he can't have been the first person to have this idea and publish it. And it just felt so familiar and forgettable to me.
There has to have been some kind of Twilight Zone, or maybe not the conceit of the telephone, but just warning, essentially warning your past self about something that's going to happen. I wonder too if, like y'all were saying, I wonder.
Well, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
I mean, kind of. Was that before this, or yeah? I guess it would have been, right? But
yeah.
Yeah, I mean 80s, yeah. But and also too, I did enjoy going back in time a little bit to. Oh yeah, there before smartphones, right? When like answering a landline was a thing, and so yeah.
Well, there's a few things that I wanted to mention. I think it's page 499 when there's like a close up on the holes in the phone. That really reminded me of like Blue Velvet, when they do that intense close up on the grass and then it's the bugs, and then I kind of got that kind of feel from it. And then also that there's the mention of Pretty Pony in it, Dan.
Oh, that's right, yeah, because he calls it a pretty pony. Now, which came first, the pony or the telephone? Like, I wonder which one he wrote first.
Or the pony or the sorry, right number. And then on page 487, Bill exclaims, "I'm the boogeyman." So we finally get to find out who Mr. Bozeman is.
The real boogeyman is
Bill from Sorry Right Number.
He's also
folks.
Bill
Weiderman,
who writes horror novels, which
Brian. He inserted himself in there.
So what do we think about the names of these novels? Here we go. We got Spider Doom. Okay, no one liked that.
Ghost Kiss.
Ghost Kiss.
Ghost Kiss is kind of
and
trashy.
My favorite for all you trolls out there, Night of the Beast.
It's weird because King, like those don't even sound like King horror titles. You know what I mean? Like I don't think you would ever write something called Night
I
of the
know,
Beast.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love
actually my favorite King like fictional titles is in Salem's Lot. I think Ben Mears' books sound like books that Ben Mears would have actually written, like Air Dancer and or Air Dance. And what's the other one? It's oh, it's a dude's name. I can't remember now. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, no. Okay, well, was that a strange entry for everybody? Was that pretty middling, or was that really low for
middling.
folks?
It was 13 for me, so it just made the worst list, I guess.
It was like number 6 for me.
Whoa, 6?
Yeah, it was number 6 for me. Honestly.
Yeah.
Was that after hearing or like that second time hearing it read with the different cast members?
The voices. Yeah. I think that added to it a bit for me, and it made it more plausible, and I missed a lot of the glaring inconsistencies with it, but it flowed pretty well for me for a short little story, and then I could see it as like a flushed out into had I known that it had actually been made into an episode. But
were people reading the stage directions?
Yeah, that's
no. They just were reading it as if it was like
interesting.
Episode.
Also, real quick to backtrack, did you
yeah.
listen to Head Down? Did somebody read that whole thing?
Stephen King read that whole thing.
Oh,
yeah.
Was it like a radio drama? Like, did you hear the things that were happening, or was it just straight up,
basically
they were just reading it?
No, it was like a radio drama, as if you were, and I think that's also a little bit why I liked it, because it kind of made me think of those times where people used to go around the radio and listen to people read stories late at night, and the connection that brought, and they had like the TV playing, they had all the external sounds as well as the characters themselves reading.
that's cool.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
That actually does sound fun. Yeah, I think that would work.
I would totally listen to that. Yeah,
I don't know why
it's higher for me.
For Head Down, I pictured like Garrison Keillor reading it or something.
If only. No, he was very proud of that story, so he read it himself.
Yeah. So let's move on to our next one here. That for me was number 12. So that was like right there in the middle too.
Yeah, I had it at I think let's see, 15 for me. Yeah, so it was in the middle.
And clocking in at number 16, The Doctor's Case. So this is, we're getting kind of towards the middle stuff here. I genuinely, I was entertained. I felt I was right into all the accents, and I was reading this one out loud to myself, and I was in. I dug it. I can't think of. Let me see where it was on my list here. I had this at number 8.
I had this at number 22.
Wow.
Whoa.
Go off.
and it was read by Tim Curry, who I love. And
that's great.
I couldn't get into it. I think this annoys me the same thing as the parable, where it was just like, it didn't really seem like a king, like it could be a king story. It was just like he was bored and like needed to come up with something and decided, he was going through maybe a Sherlock Holmes phase.
Yeah, it's exactly
what it felt like.
It was actually published. It was originally published in the New Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, which is just it was like a collection of Sherlock Holmes stories.
There you go.
Yeah, it was just like he was just jumping into that world for a day. I don't know. I mean, I like Holmes, but I like Watson more, and I think that's why I like this story.
Oh, sorry, good.
I had it at 10, and I think it was just because I was like, at least it's different. And I thought, again, like I was really looking for a break from the things that I was from like the other material in here, and I thought it had a clever solution. I really liked the sort of the setup and the solution to the mystery. I also sort of liked the borderline supernatural intuition that leads Watson to solve it. Like he's like really bowled over by the click in his brain when he actually sees what has happened, and that was a sort of cool, like, oh, maybe that's what happens with Sherlock. I didn't like that we couldn't solve the mystery ourselves, like that there was no way for us to have figured it out. And I also
it was all visual,
thought that it really also even though it's different, it crystallized a theme of this collection, which is just bastards getting their comeuppance from slightly smarter bastards. Like, it's all about like bad people, but some are slightly less bad, and they're gonna kill the bad ones.
Yeah, what did y'all think about the ending? Because don't they just kind of like let them get away with it?
Yeah, they let them go. He sucked.
Yeah,
but I mean, they still plotted and killed the guy. I was like, I don't think they. I think
he was dying in like 2 months from gout or gangrene.
Right? They were just helping him along.
They don't know this guy's life. They don't know. I mean, maybe these kids were real nightmares to this guy, and he was totally getting this rightful revenge.
He seemed like a dick before they were born, and just kind of got worse as they were alive. Like the way he describes I think it was the youngest son who had the disability. And just his thought, or no, Stephen was the youngest son who was running the business. So how he treated the younger son and the middle son, and just his opinion from, I guess, this outside narration of them, kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I think the most interesting fact for me was that, Sherlock Holmes is allergic to cats. Who knew?
His one downfall.
Yeah,
that's why that was the Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's original idea for Moriarty. He was just going to be a cat.
A cat person.
Well, I'll say this. No joke. While I was reading the story, I was also, by coincidence, watching a little movie called The Great Mouse Detective, and which
love
you might
The Great Mouse Detective.
I do too. I think it's great. And what you might say is Sherlock Holmes, or Basil rather, is allergic to cats in that one because he's a mouse. But I actually think, no joke, and this is maybe the most unfair criticism I've ever leveled at a Stephen King story. I feel like because I was watching Great Mouse Detective and loving it so much, and loving this abbreviated kind of true different riff on the Holmes mythos, I was just kind of bored by this one the whole time. And I should say too, I've never Sherlock Holmes has never been like one of my favorite series or anything. I like Hound of the Baskervilles pretty well enough when I was a kid, but and yeah, I mean I think King is doing his version of Arthur Conan Doyle pretty well. But for me, it just wasn't enough. It was like, okay, cool. It's a cool Holmes story, but hey, I'm reading a King collection, and yeah, it just kind of stuck out a little bit to me. So I had it at number 21. This one sounds like it was a little polarizing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like a little half and half here.
I could also chalk that up to Great Mouse Detective. Maybe I was just having such a good time in that Holmes world that I didn't want to get
with Vincent Price.
I know. Oh, Vincent Price is so good. He's so good as Radigan's like pretty freaky in that. No, that. I'd actually argue, man, that Great Mouse Detective is kind of scary.
It is.
Fidget, the bat, like that, he is freaky. Yeah, that's a great movie. It's on Disney Plus, in case anyone is wondering.
Also, we've got Patreon now, folks. So if you want us to do an episode of Great Mouse Detective, just voice your.
I'd be down.
Your points.
I'm sure it's in the King universe. We can make a case for it. If we did it with the Page Master, we can do it with the Great Mouse Detective.
Oh, what? I missed that.
Well, y'all know, yesterday I was watching TV, and have you ever seen the movie Sneakers with Robert Redford? Because we're moving on to number 15, Sneakers. Now, although this doesn't have Robert Redford, it does have a pair of sneakers in a bathroom stall. What did y'all think about this one? Who wants to go first?
This was higher on my list. I actually dug this story a little bit. I would say that's the perfect way to put it. I really liked the conceit of the ghost. I thought it was a really original, cool way to portray a ghost as the sneakers under the stall door with all the bugs kind of dying progressively around them. That was like, and I liked the unfinished business aspect of it. Like, it was both a mundane and disgusting ghost, and there was some cool just like industry shit in there. I guess my complaint, I don't quite understand the breed of homophobia like percolating in this story. Like, it's one thing to reinforce Paul's like predatory, selfish nature, but it's another to reinforce homophobia within the main character who like equates his fear of being read as queer with the fear of this corpse, and he's thought to be queer by like multiple people, so there's something going on here for no reason that I can see. It's like his loneliness is somehow equating to queerness, and the reader needs to be reassured that he's not queer. And there's almost something echoed in this by his having to relieve himself so often. Like, King's like, no, don't worry, he's pushing things out of his butt. Like, nothing is going into his butt.
I like how you started this off with like, I actually really like the story.
I did, but and I thought that gayness.
But I hear you
was
totally.
Equated with hot-headedness and like drug addiction and all the parts of rock and roll that are dangerous, and like that was why it wasn't ranked higher for me. But I did like, other than that, like I enjoyed reading it.
Yeah, I have to agree. I was on the same line.
Mm-hmm.
Just
who
go ahead.
Read this one?
Whoever interrupted.
No. Who do you know? Who spoke this one or on the audio?
Let me find it.
Robert Redford.
Okay.
I wish. Sneakers.
See here. Where did I have this?
David
Cronenberg. Oh, I had it at number.
David
Cronenberg.
Cronenberg. Oh, I've got to listen to it now.
Yeah. I'll send you all the link because I found something where it had all of them.
Hell yeah.
To find.
Oh, that's great.
Did he read it really like, "Hi, I'm David Cronenberg. I'm gonna read," because then when in Nightbreed he plays the main villain and he reads it. His villain in Nightbreed is, I love it. He's just so, "I'll meet you in Sheer Neck." He's just, it's so monotone. I love it. Is that how he talks?
Oh, I love
No, I think he did a really good job in it. I was agreeing with Mel because I like the flow of the story and the concept of this ghost and how he appears and like the steady paranoia that kind of builds with the main character as this like ghost becomes more prevalent in his life, and this fear of having to like go to different bathrooms just to get further and further away from it, but it's still always there and present. But again, I think what caused it to be lower on my scale was also the like kind of homophobia that was rolling in there, and the whole scene where they're at the bar and Paul is just kind of like, well, if I don't get you, I'll get everyone out. I'll get somebody else. Like, you're just, you might be my friend, but you're also just a piece of meat at the same time. And I think that he became the villain was a twist for me that I liked but didn't appreciate because of, as Mel said, it reinforces kind of this fear that, and I've been watching Pose lately, so HIV and AIDS and kind of that homophobia that is associated with that disease was in my mind as I was reading this and listening to it. So
yeah,
that's probably why it's lower on my list.
Where'd you have it?
Where'd I have what
on the list? Like what rank?
Let me find what I did. I'm like looking at the two. I think it was number 13, 14.
Okay, I had it at 6,
I don't have any numbers.
Which seems very high, but I think I just really liked that ghost idea.
Yeah, I mean the reveal when he's
in.
Oh, the other thing that I didn't like was that kind of just was like he gets to see the ghost, and I get the ghost story is out there now. Someone knows the truth, but it just seemed unfinished.
That was my.
I didn't.
Sorry, get back.
Sorry, I didn't like that. I think when the ghost story is told to tell, it's like so spot on. It's almost too perfect. And I liked the mystery behind it. I liked the fact that maybe Tell was the only one seeing this and just forgetting about it. I really liked the first half of this. I thought was really good, and I was really into it. And but the end and the homophobia stuff and just kind of where it ends up going. I think once you kind of know what the story is, it's like it almost gives you too much information. I wish it was a little shorter and a little less like, well, is it real or is it not a real kind of thing?
But I thought the point was that, the ghost story was out there, but nobody knew that it was Paul that had killed the guy. Like that was the unfinished business. I liked it.
Yeah.
Right.
I just expected something to happen from it. You know?
Yeah, that was my big issue. I mean, for the reasons you all outlined already, the homophobia and everything else. But yeah, for me, the biggest thing was the payoff at the end. I mean, I guess you could argue, okay, well, he's gonna take down Paul, right? But I don't know. I feel like it just kind of ended. It deflated at the very end for me. I just wanted some bigger kind of thing to happen, and maybe it's just not that kind of story. But you're saying you like that, Mel, like the sort of open-endedness of it.
Certainly, yeah. I think that was also that's just true of the industry. Like that's just they get away with it, right? Like
that is true.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just the
true.
complicity and everything.
There was some Kings. There. Oh no, go ahead.
No, it just felt unfinished for me.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna say there's some King's Dominion in here because the Pusher was stabbed in. No, this is true. This is not Room 237.
The way you said
the Pusher was stabbed in the eye with a pencil, a barrel black pencil, which is George Stark's writing utensil of choice.
I did see that
in the Dark Half.
And maybe
I could totally see Stark in this story. It's hanging out.
Or maybe it's Stephen King's writing utensil of choice too.
Oh, maybe it might be. Yeah, it pops up in a lot of stories here. Oh, I also wanted to ask y'all, Roger Daltrey's in this story. Do you think he's a nice guy?
All right. It was funny because Roger Daltrey, doesn't he? He has a little bit of a reputation for being kind of. Well, I don't know. I don't know if he's like a full-on prick necessarily to people around him, but he's certainly, I think, has a reputation of being difficult to work with. You always read interviews with him and Pete Townsend where they just hate each other. It's like
Well, that's why I thought it was funny because I think they paint him as like this nice. Like he says, like, oh yeah, he ends up being like a pretty nice guy.
Yeah, maybe he's cool to the.
I've never heard that.
Maybe he's cool to the people working for him. But yeah, I know all the interviews I've read, he's just kind of trashing things the whole time. He seems very combative.
Maybe Steven's just a big Who fan and just wanted to throw him in there, you know. And like, maybe Roger will hear this someday.
Yeah, he's listening.
Well, that was Sneakers.
Wait, where did you guys have it?
I had it low.
For me,
I had it like 22.
God.
I know.
I had it at.
We're solving the math. Yeah.
I had it at 15 because I tell you that I never thought it would be 15 because the first half I was really loving it. The ghost and just like how he kept just the mention of like seeing the shoes, but then he got caught up in this thing and he just never thought about the shoes again. You know, and I just kind of liked how it was just slowly kept coming back and the dead flies on the shoes, and I was just really invested. But I don't know, part of me feels like with a lot of Stephen King short stories, and there's another story that we're going to talk about, and I don't think we're going to talk about today, but because it's actually in the good stories. But there's just like this thing where he introduces this really great idea, but then there's like something in that idea that he latches onto and then starts to really build upon that is not half as interesting as the original idea, in my opinion. So I don't know. It just kind of fell for me.
I thought this was one of them that actually really pulled that off. I just didn't like all the weird gay stuff that was in it. But I thought this was one where the conceit and the characters actually married, and like the conceit was so original but also still scary. I'm also someone who just gets scared in a bathroom stall alone all the time. Like I always look to see.
It definitely had so much potential, but it just I don't know. I liked though too when he was describing the shoes, and each you get like a little bit more of it, like the eyelet of the hole and how it was mislaced, and everything was. It was almost as if it was as he got more and more detail of the shoes, the ghost became more and more real. I just kind of didn't like the fact that it just seemed like the ghost kind of wasted his time for me in the end. It was like, okay, now someone knows, but I'm just gonna. Was his soul free? Was he gonna haunt somebody else? Like, I had too many questions at the end.
I'm right there with you.
Maybe we'll get a sequel. Sneakers 2.
The last half just didn't. Yeah, Sneakers 2. More Robert Redford.
More sneaking.
Let's see here. We're getting there, folks. We have 2 left. 2 stories, and these 2 stories just didn't make the cut. They just didn't make the cut. And the second to last story that we're going to be talking about today is number 14. You know, they got a hell of a band.
I hate that title. I actually like this story. I hate that title. That's so stupid.
Yeah. See, Yeah, so let's just see it. Where did this fall for everybody before we go into it?
Where is it in the
This was
ranking?
Yeah.
Where is it on the ranking of the big ranking? It's 14.
It's number 14. It's number 14.
Okay, I had it 16, so pretty close. I really didn't like this story.
I had it at 19.
Oof. I had it 10.
Dan?
10.
Yeah,
10.
I think I had it.
Aisha?
Let's see. I had some that were like tied, so
Yeah.
I think it was more of like 11. It was 11 for me.
Oh, that's a good range. Yeah.
So we've got like 10 to 16 here.
Yeah.
In the middle.
Yeah.
I kind of just like the idea of this little heaven, but hell. It's a heaven and hell of rock, and the concept of it, but the execution and like the overall story was kind of flat for me, so that's why I kind of came mid-range.
I feel like Stephen King, I also dig that concept, but I feel like he wanted to make a mixtape but just wrote a dumb story. Also, the notes imply that he when he writes his notes about this, he's like, I just was really upset and scared by the fact that all these rock and roll icons die young. But then I'm like, why make them the villains? Like, the allegory does not match up. Like, I don't understand what exactly we're supposed to take away here. Like, why are these figures evil?
Yeah, it was
I just don't find them scary at all. That's the thing. I just didn't find them frightening or scary. And I don't know. They were all very, just the fact that the woman and the husband, I mean, the couple kept, like, they knew all of these people. Like, they knew some of the obscure rock stars. And maybe, I guess, at the time they're not. Or I mean, I guess if you're really, really into that kind of rock and roll, maybe you know all these people by name. But when they started, like, kind of just, like, rattling off some of these people that they knew had died, and I guess maybe this was closer to some of those deaths coming out in 92, but I don't know. It wasn't scary to me at all. And I felt like they were really trying to paint it as scary. I think the idea that you could be stuck in this town forever and have to kind of be this endless concert that idea is scary to me, but not like, Buddy Holly chasing me down the street, This is like silly to me.
I think what you're saying, Mac, and at least I did like this story because I thought this central conceit of, it was almost like a Children of the Corn and this couple getting lost, and the idea of being stuck in this time loop is scary enough on its own, and just seeing the kind of sad waitress and everyone know that they're stuck, that was creepy enough. Where the story falters for me a little bit is where he had, we see the maggots on the face, and I feel like halfway through he goes, I'm Stephen King, I have to add some grisly horror into here, which from, like I said, most of these stories I do appreciate the goriness and the grossness, but to me I would have rather I like the story, but I would have rather have seen him lean more into the we're stuck here, the existential kind of waiting for Godot, Beckett kind of thing. That was where the story was creepy for me, not the maggots on the face or any of the other gross stuff you saw.
I think it would have been creepier if, it really seems like King was trying to perform some sort of commentary on how the industry like burns these people up and it promotes drug addiction and overdoses and plane crashes. So I think it would have been really scary to me if everyone had been terrified, like if they had to perform even though they didn't want to, like if they were also like stuck. But it just didn't make sense to me that they were just turned evil, and also we had spent so much time being told that the man in this story is a fucking douchebag and that the woman indulges it, so like I don't care about either of them at all by the time they get caught here. Like there's so much of the story devoted to her being like, my husband is an asshole and so I can't talk to him about the fact that we're definitely lost. Do I love him? But
thank God
like,
for that
maybe.
One moment where we're connected because we've been together forever. Yeah, I don't know. I also had notes about the fact of how the relationship between the husband and wife kind of distracted me from the rest of the story. I had to read it a second time to kind of put my thoughts aside for that.
You are so thorough. You talk about listening and reading these stories twice. Like, hats off to you.
No, don't. There's a lot of skimming. That's why I had to listen to it as well, because it was a little bit hard for me sometimes to read through King. I agree in the sense that the maggot part was a little bit much. It kind of, I guess I don't know what he was going for, where it was like they knew that they were messing with her and wouldn't she try to escape, but they were also trying to be like congenial and nice and inviting them to stay. Like there was this paradox that he was trying to present to us of like heaven and hell, but it wasn't working out for me. And I kind of, from an outside perspective, kind of laughed and giggled. I think that's why it was a little bit higher, is because it just seemed kind of cheesy and dorky, kind of like a Shaun of the Dead type of hilarity, where it's like there are dead people getting up and moving around, but it's kind of funny from an outside perspective.
And Elvis is there. Like, that's hilarious.
Right? But then going back to the idea in general of like being stuck in this town where there's all these people you recognize and they're all dead and you can't get out and there's something wrong and it takes you too long to figure out what's wrong. And by that point, and I think the wife references it at that point, at some point in the movie, is like, if I don't go now, then we'll never get out or I'll lose my chance. And that's when I think Buddy Holly stops her. And like that interaction too of him like squeezing her shoulder so painfully, but also trying to be the sweet, like charming, Southern gent rock and roll dude at the same time. I don't know. It just it was a hit and miss for me, and I also did not like the title.
I felt like it was a Twilight Zone episode that could have been executed really well, like subtly, but like it just didn't line up for me. There's a few things I did want to bring up, though, before we move on. The Steve Earle and the Dukes, 6 Days on the Road, is featured, so I appreciate that. They mentioned Friday the 13th Part 20, which does not exist. I hope we get there because on our other podcast, the Halloweenies, we are covering Friday the 13th right now. So if you're a big Friday the 13th head, you should hop over there and listen to those episodes. Mm-hmm. And then also, they mention page 376. There were more stars in the sky now. It was almost full dark.
No.
We got full dark, folks. I couldn't believe it. I love that full dark mention in room 237. Yeah, any other thoughts on this one?
I do think there's an interesting link of time throughout some of these stories. Like My Pretty Pony, I guess it grows on you. You could use Sorry Right Number, Sneakers, and they got a hell of a band. Like this concept of time and how you can be trapped in it, or how it can be helpful to you, or how if you don't pay attention. I don't know. There was just kind of like this overarching theme of time, and I don't know if that's maybe what he was using to link certain things that we see as like, why are you putting this in there? Or what's the connection for this?
Yeah,
that's what I'm telling you all. That's why My Pretty Pony is great, because it's
Dan's like, it is the linchpin.
That's the link. Yeah.
Let it go, Dan. Let it go.
Yeah.
I will not give you that.
Yeah, no. I mean, I do. It's sort of like for me, Night Shift has the theme of apocalypse threaded throughout it, and yeah, I do think there is a lot about aging, immortality, and time in these. I think I just get thrown off by all the random formatted. Randomly formatted tales in here, like with the poetry and whatever else. But yeah, I wonder if I'm trying to think if he talks about that in the intro at all. How old was he when he wrote this? He was born in 1950, so 44. So is this his first like middle-aged story collection?
It's his third one, 7 years after Skeleton Crew. I mean, I think Isha's onto something, because like if you think about the stories too, the characters are either like really like bright-eyed newlyweds, or they are like very worldly, like older people who are like there to impart wisdom or like know more about the world and kind of take pity on those who don't.
And we see that dynamic really brought to a head in the story My Pretty Pony, where an old man is talking.
I did not think you were going there.
Who reads this one, Nisha?
Well,
wait a minute, which one is this? I don't think I have this written down. Hold on.
I would hope
Grace.
Is it the ghost
Slick?
of Buddy Holly?
Oh, Grace
wish.
Slick? Oh, from Jefferson Airplane?
Possibly.
Right. Yeah, Grace Slick. Yeah, Grace Slick. Yeah,
I think you're right.
Hey, that makes sense why she would read that then.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. I respect that. I like that. It seems like they put some thought into at least some of these stories if you read them. Not all of them, but
he tried for some.
Not dedication. But,
No.
Is there a dead rock star that would entice you to stay in rock and roll heaven?
Oh man, yeah.
Didn't he say Marvin Gaye or Al Green was there? I was like, Jimi Hendrix.
Like, who would you never get tired of playing over and over and over again every night?
Oh, you mean like music? Oh man.
But they all play.
Yeah, every night.
It's like a medley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need multiple musicians. I couldn't just do, or like maybe a genre. I couldn't just do one musician.
If they had,
they got to be dead. They have to be dead.
They're not all dead yet, but if
it could be a lot of people probably.
If they got like all of the 2 of them are still alive, but if they got all the members of the band from the 70s to play every night, I would watch that because they were really good at improvising. Also, I feel like they would have a really wide repertoire, and it has like 4 singer-songwriters in it. Yeah, I would do it for that. I mean, look, I don't want to go ahead and I'm alive, but if I had to, I would do it for the band, I think.
Well, anybody else? I mean, we could leave Dan in Rock and Roll Heaven.
I want to see the band play every night, and then get it before when I go to bed. I want my grandfather to read me My Pretty Pony every night. That's my idea.
Creepy.
That's funny.
Well,
the King got 2 rock stars for the audiobook because you got Jerry Garcia and Grace Slick.
Yeah.
A dream come true.
Well, we are gonna leave Dan in Rock and Roll Heaven. We're gonna hop in a Cadillac, and it's Dolan's Cadillac at number 13.
Do you all want to know before or after who read this?
No, yeah, let's now.
Rob Lowe.
Whoa!
All right, yes. They got Robbie Lowe in there. Nice. I think that's kind of perfect.
Yeah, that's great, actually.
The story that it's almost to the good stuff because I can see Rob Lowe. I can see that payoff there.
So this is our last one for the episode, number 13.
So this is number 13. Dolan's Cadillac almost made the top 12 stories.
I know Dan's got a bone
to pick
with this one.
I got a big bone to pick with Dolan's Cadillac. Several bones to pick.
Let's hear it.
Well, I feel like I think we're just gonna have different opinions on this. I don't like how we never find out what his wife did to get killed. Like just this whole thing about what she did wasn't important. I'm like, no, of course it's important. And then also we don't get any idea of what the relationship was like between him and his wife either. So my big bone to pick with this story is that I just feel like I don't know what he's fighting for the whole time. I mean, we're told what he's fighting for. Okay, his wife got killed, but I have no idea what the relationship is like.
He loves his wife.
What do you say?
So he loves his wife.
Yeah, no, well, I know, but that's fine. You should love your partner, but like, and then also too. I mean, I do like the mechanics of how he gets Dolan into the ditch and everything with Dolan killing the guy in the car with him and all that. And I thought this story was going to lean into guilt, kind of like Deliverance style, where he's haunted by what he did, and they get at that a little bit, but not quite. In the end, he just kind of moves on from everything. So for me, the story just felt like a non-starter, and honestly, it felt like the outline of a screenplay to me rather than a fully fleshed out story. I feel like I need need to know more about what was driving him and motivating him.
What did you rank it?
I had it number 20. And I think because he does it right at the top, he's like, I'm not going to tell you what my relationship was like with my wife. Just know that we loved each other. I'm not going to tell you why Dolan was after her. Just know that it was bad. And I'm like, well, fuck, what are you going to tell us then? And then you're okay, like, all right, great. I get
He's
to see
like, how I put the car in the hole. That's
like,
there's no connection.
We get to see you doing road work, and you put a car in the ditch. That being said, I was pretty freaked out when he's burying Dolan.
Yes,
and
alive.
Dolan goes from being calm and collected to really freaking out. That actually did disturb me, just the idea of burying someone alive. But yeah, I felt like for this to be the first story in the collection, it was let's just say the engine of this Cadillac was not starting.
It's stalled.
Stalled out. But but what about you? It sounds like the rest of you
nice imagery.
Maybe the rest of you liked it more.
I had it at 7.
I had it
7.
Yeah.
7.
I just thought
wow.
Well, again, okay, 7 doesn't mean much because I think I earnestly enjoyed about 5 to 6 of these stories.
I was just about to say that. Yeah.
But I thought the conceit was, again, like, clever and original enough, and the, like, sheer effort and verisimilitude that he puts into, like, burying this car was, like, intriguing to me. Like, I was like, okay, like, he's going to tell me how to do this. I agree with you, Dan, that it's all about revenge and it's not about character. And I really cringed at the Cask of Amontillado reference when he's like, for the love of God. But overall, I thought I was with it. Like, sure, I'll read this story about a guy who like buries a whole car off a highway and like breaks his back doing it. That's a classic sort of King Sisyphean, like a king task. He loves to write about these things that are like so backbreaking and
I do like King writing about long, laborious tasks. I am actually very interested in, like Franny burying her dad in the stand. He describes manual labor in a way that's actually weirdly compelling to me.
Yeah, I think the use of, sometimes I feel when I read him that he takes too much time to describe something, and for this, it kind of, I felt for, I forgot what the main character's name was, but just kind of the amount of work and time and effort and just motivation, I felt tired for him at times. Mm-hmm. And I always joke that I say, like, I could never be a serial killer or a murderer or something like that, or a stalker, because I'm too lazy. Like, just the amount of work that you have to put in to keep that separate. And then it took a while to build, but then once you get to the actual point where he's out there with Dolan, and then he gets lost, and I think it's a sandstorm at some point, I like that pull up to that part of the story. That for me, if we cut out everything else, I kind of would have been okay with it. If it just came to the part where it's like you drop in on him waiting on the side of the highway for Dolan's Cadillac to show up, and then we're burying him under there, and the plead, and kind of, I don't know what I would do if someone was burying me alive. Like, I literally don't know how I would respond in that moment.
Think about how hot it was out there probably already.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't know how you survive within.
And
like
you're
10
in there with two dead
bodies.
Yeah,
and you used all your bullets like an idiot.
Yeah, totally. This for me, it was funny because when my original ranking, this was dead middle, so it's so perfect that this is number 13. I think I'm with y'all on that front where sometimes I'm really, really, really engaged by the tediousness of the task and the King's ability to kind of draw that out and go into the details. And I was gripped for a while, but then it just seemed to go on, and I just was like, okay, all right, let's go. Like, is this story about how to do it, like you were saying, like how to do this in reality, or
it's both?
Or like, do you remember the characters? Like, there's other things going on in this story. But yeah, it for me, it was right there in the middle, and it felt to me too, like, to start off the short story collection with this, and this felt so much like a Bachman story that I just was like, oh, is this what we're in for? And I honestly, there's so many of these stories that are kind of Bachman-esque that I just wasn't on board.
He says Bachman is sort of responsible for some of them. He also says that he looked into, like, he changed some details so that, like, we actually couldn't hotwire a bulldozer if we follow his instructions.
Man. Yeah, I was gonna try that tomorrow.
For y'all, I know Mel, you said there were about 5 or 6 stories you really loved, and then the rest were.
Loved is really. There were 2 I loved.
Okay. What was the threat? Because for me, I feel like there's maybe 8 that I love. And then probably 9 to, like, I would say 9 to maybe 14, I think, are okay or 9 to 15 are like all right for me, or solid. And then the rest for me are ones that I am not into at all. But what about the Mac and Aisha? Like, I don't know, how does it break out for you just overall?
Go for it, Aisha.
I would say 4 or 5 of the stories, like, I actually enjoyed, with a question mark, but there were 2 for sure that I when Randall asked me about my rankings, because I sent him kind of hodgepodgey, I was like, I can't really decide between these 4, so they're kind of these 4 are at my top 2 for various reasons. The rest of it, I kind of I don't know. There were points where it's like it had the potential to be good, and I just kind of got disappointed by the lack of follow through, or the fact that he would get distracted halfway with, like, trying to fill in details that were unnecessary for me, or his use of imagery just kind of getting off track for me and just taking too long to get to the point where I'm just like, and I think that's something I have an issue with a lot with King, is that I get to, not that I don't enjoy long stories, but there's so much other information I guess he could have gave me, or story that he could have gave me, that gets lost or not even approached because we spend so much time with these superfluous descriptions or unnecessary concepts or bigotry and all this other bullshit that's just, which might be a sign of the times of when he wrote it in. I don't know.
He hasn't changed much though. I feel like there were 2 for me that I loved, 2 that I loved, 6 that I had fun with, and then the majority of the rest were like ultimately forgettable, and I was kind of like meh. And then there were 2 that like really upset me, which we've already discussed.
Yeah. What were those again? No.
Yeah, I would say there was 5 that I really liked, and then 20 that I thought were okay. Like it felt like it was such a chore.
Yes.
To get through a lot of these, and then the idea of a lot of them, I was very intrigued, and so it wasn't necessarily hard to, be excited about the next story, because I was always like, oh, this could be good, but then it ultimately was always just kind of like meandering for me. So who all is going to be on the next episode where we talk about?
We all are, I think.
The best.
I think all are.
Yeah. Is it the 4 of us?
Gotta keep
okay,
it
awesome.
consistent.
Which means I'll have
let's definitely, because I was going to tease, I was going to ask some questions and see if if there were some people if there were some folks that weren't going to be on it. I wanted to know, what their top story was, but we will save that obviously, because if we're going to be on, then people just have to wait.
We welcome your predictions, though, when we post this
opinions,
episode. Let us know what you think is going to come out in the top 3. And we'll see how right you are.
Yeah.
I'm interested to know what you guys picked for your top 3.
I guess I'll have to find out.
Well, we'll find out and soon. I'm not sure if it'll be the next episode.
Man,
but
it really is like a polarizing collection, I feel like, all over the It's funny how there wasn't... Like, I feel like Night Shift, there was pretty across-the-board consistency of what the rankings were. But yeah, here it seems a little bit all over the map, which is good.
Definitely. I think I'm really excited to talk about the next 12, though, because I think there are some really good ones in there.
I want to get to one where we
discussion.
all love it. Like
yeah.
I think it'll happen.
I think it'll happen. Yeah.
We're on the same page.
Yeah, I think it'll
exact
absolutely
number.
happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
This was very fun. It was a very exciting episode. We're ringing it in here at 2:17, and we hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't reviewed us, go to anything that you listen to us on and give us a review. We really appreciate that. We love it. We also have a Patreon. Please investigate that. We talk about that on our socials. And stay tuned, because we're going to be covering the top 12 stories of Nightmares and Dreamscapes very soon. So without further ado, I think we're going to wrap this up. Is everybody ready?
Yeah.
Long days. And pleasant nights.
I got some hot friends. God, I got some hot friends. I got some hot friends. God, I got some hot friends. But you know you want somebody to treat you good.
Consequence Podcast Network.